on the outside looking in, and I wanna be back on the inside. I don't wanna be left on the outside, all alone. All alone.
With beats, discussing the heat in the streets. Take over the west and the east. I got what you need, a dose of this vitamin G. You rockin' with beats, discussing the heat in the streets. Take over the west and the east. I got what you need, a dose of this vitamin G. You rockin' with beats, discussing the heat in the streets. Take over the west and the east. I got what you need, a dose of this vitamin G. Rockin' with beats, discussing the heat in the streets. I got what you need, a dose of this vitamin G. You rockin' with beats, discussing the heat in the streets.
On the outside looking in, and I wanna be back on the inside. I don't wanna be left on the outside, all alone.
Vitamin J, got what you need. Vitamin J, got what you need.
All alone.
Vitamin J. Discussing that heat in the street, and we got just what you need on Vitamin G. You rockin' with beats, discussing the heat in the streets. Take over the west and the east. I got what you need, a dose of this vitamin G. You rockin' with beats, discussing the heat in the streets. Take over the west and the east. I got what you need, a dose of this vitamin G. You rockin' with beats, discussing the heat in the streets. Take over the west and the east. I got what you need, a dose of this vitamin G. Rockin' with beats, discussing the heat in the streets. I got what you need, a dose of this vitamin G. You rockin' with beats, discussing the heat in the streets. Got what you need, a dose of this vitamin G. You rockin' with beats, discussing the heat in the streets. Take over the west and the east. I got what you need, a dose of this vitamin G. Vitamin G.
I'm on the outside looking in, and I wanna be back on the inside. On the outside, all alone, all alone. I'm on the outside looking in, and I wanna be back on the inside. I don't wanna be left on the outside, all alone.
Vitamin J, got what you need. Vitamin J, got what you need.
All alone.
Vitamin J. Ay. You rockin' with beats, discussing the heat in the streets. Take over the west and the east. I got what you need, a dose of this vitamin G. You rockin' with beats, discussing the heat in the streets. Take over the west and the east. I got what you need, a dose of this vitamin G. You rockin' with beats, discussing the heat in the streets. Take over the west and the east. I got what you need, a dose of this vitamin G. Rockin' with beats, discussing the heat in the streets. I got what you need, a dose of this vitamin G. You rockin' with beats, discussing the heat in the streets. I got what you need, a dose of this vitamin G. You rockin' with beats, discussing the heat in the streets. Take over the west and the east. I got what you need, a dose of this vitamin G. Vitamin G. Vitamin J, got what you need.
I'm on the outside looking in, and I wanna be back on the inside. I don't wanna be left on the outside, all alone.
Vitamin J, got what you need. Vitamin J, got what you need.
All alone.
Vitamin J. Try run the town. Tell no duck when they hear that sound. How they gon' come up now? Heavy as the head that'll wear that crown. I'm going pound for pound. And if it's about smoke, then we talk all of that. From an ounce to a pound. Shake it, they biting this now. Cause my drip right out the sea. How could it be? Give me a couple of rounds. Cause I'm a beast when I'm on vitamin G. You see this start crumbling now. Mad struck, start mumbling now. Get the gist, I ain't reaching for clout. Plot twist, I'm the one with the keys. Clock glitz, know they look how I freeze. Different continents, I be torn. We living life, making yours look boring. See, we win at the end, it's a spoiler warning. Cause I keep heating up, I might blow the whole planet. They calling me toxic like global warming. But they keep tuning in once again and again. I'm the one at the top just to form a warning. Truly, I'm De Niro when it come to movies. Get De Niro, entertain the groupies. Habanero if you come pursue me. But I hop on the game, too busy rolled up whenever my girl getting moody. Link up with the gang, we all go insane. Catching them bills on the duty. I'm in Stixie, I'm locked in. Bought a box, I was like 10. Back then, used to box, nowadays they ain't throwing hands. Mama said we got more advanced. One thing about me, I adapt, bought a Glock fin. Keep me safe from the block in. The game kept me off the block. Ain't got flex about looting my Rugers. I can shit on you with my computer. See my graphics card costs more than your damn job can afford to pay you. And my monitor, big as hell, detail, so I can see when I spray you. To reload the clip and record the clip is go all say to that SSD. Know a whole lot of trill game heads like me wanna see tuned into that VGP. Take over the west and the east, and we got just what you need on vitamin G.
Hello. Welcome everybody to this week's episode of Vitamin G Podcast. I am your host, Pharaoh. And with me today, looks like I have a full panel. Looks like I got Nappy, Omar, Zero, and Kofi. They're figuring out mic issues, so. Hold up, can you guys hear me? I don't know. Can my panel hear me? Or unleash them? Uh, all right. Yeah. All right. Can you guys hear me now? All right. My mic must have my mic. He sounds fine to me. The mic switched like mid mid stream. I don't know what happened in Discord, but yeah, my mic switched. Y'all couldn't hear me. But I've already went live. I already said hello to everyone. Yeah, we got a full panel. And let's see. I'm gonna kick it off with Omar first, man. How you been? What you been playing? You were the first one in the Discord, so yeah, man.
Okay, first time. I see. Yeah, stop everyone. I've been playing some Metrovanians on the side. As always, me and my Metrovania. It's becoming an addiction right now. I'm on my 10th, I think. Outside of that, Expedition 33. And I'm not far in. Like, I beat the first area, you can say. And yeah, no. This is what we asked Square to be. Welcome to the combat. Like, this is. I've said it multiple times, like they tried it with Octopath Traveler, but this is the that we have come to an evolution in turn-based. Sea of Stars tried it. It worked in certain, like how there certain moves you deal extra damage if you press the button at the right time. But with this one, you feel it, dude. You feel it. The passion, the care. I will admit, parry can be iffy at times. If anyone played Kana, it's literally the same issue I had with Kana, which is parry is inconsistent. And I'm not gonna lie, for a game that forces you to either parry or block or dodge, it's a huge problem if your parry is not on time. Sometimes it works, or rather, most of the time it works. And when it does, you feel like a boss. But when it doesn't, it makes you question yourself. Like, am I doing correct? Do I need to do a picture perfect dodge, a parry, or something? You start to doubt your own ability to parry, which um is not good because at least I fought one boss and a few optional bosses. If you don't parry or dodge, you would get eviscerated very quick. Especially me playing on the hardest difficulty. Yeah, it's not nice. Another thing I've seen other people talk about it, and I agree, is the lack of map in the area, like especially for a JRPG. Yes, apparently there's an open world map, but like in the area where you're at, I do think a map is needed. The same story I had with Sons of Midnight, which is basically you miss out on a lot of stuff if you don't have a map, because the areas look a little bit alike and they're on a little bit on the open side, so you spent exploring not knowing if you, like, for example, I spent exploring the entire area in the very first area only to find out I missed out on a mini boss that I can't even fight anymore. I need to play it all over again just to fight that mini boss, and it's frustrating. If I had a map, I could have easily seen that there was a red dot that showcased that about a mini boss. But yeah, no, outside of that, the voice acting is superb. The music is is some of the best music I've ever heard. And there is a conversation to be had of why does this game do storytelling so good? Is it because it's a short game, so they can get to the uh, meat and potato very quick? Because the intro is very short for the most part, and it hit you in the feels like very quick. You're like, damn, you're hitting me in the feel already? And it made you invested in the game story. So yeah, no, so far I'm having a blast with the game. I'm curious about the other people that played it, but I think nobody here did, so we will see.
Right.
That's,
And
that's about it for me.
I'm gonna go to number 2. I made it to that. Happy man, how you been? What you been playing? Oh, Happy might have disappeared for a moment. All good.
Wait, Dag, I wasn't number two. I thought
Yeah, I was number two.
Kofi was
Oh,
number two.
I lost track. Kofi, number 2
No, you
in
good.
the chat, man. How you been, man? What you been playing?
I've been good, man. It's been absent for a little while, but that doesn't mean I haven't been playing. This year has been very productive in me getting through some games that I've kind of always wanted to touch on. One quick outlier I'll mention is my family and I have been playing a lot of Minecraft Dungeons, and my sons are really into it. We've gotten pretty high in level. I think we're all like 60s, and we kind of just go at our own pace. We're a little bit overpowered just with them learning all the skills. But one thing I really like about Minecraft Dungeons is there's enough variety in items you can collect and armor and builds that you can have that keep you testing new things and trying all different types of attacks. And there's enough dungeons with the I think we have everything short of the season pass. So yeah, shout out to Microsoft Studios and making this particular game approachable enough, but not mind-numbing in its depth. But the main thing is I finished two RPGs. I think since I've last been on. The first was Visions of Mana. Actually, maybe I was here since finishing Visions of Mana. Really wonderful action RPG that is in the vein of the Mana series that's been around for 30 years, I think, 25, 30 years. And I think this latest one is simply gorgeous. The number one highlight I took away from this game is its combat system and how throughout the story there are different elements that each character can use by equipping it, and it allows them to not only have a special attack, which is pretty normal, it also gives them some sort of utility skill that can help them navigate the world. And kind of reminds me of like old school Wild Arms, where you can find tools that can help you solve puzzles. It's not necessarily that complex in Mana, but for example, you could have the water power, which gives you like a water gun. And the game kind of at the moment that you're using the water gun changes to like a third person perspective, almost like you're playing Splatoon. And you can shoot people with the water gun, and enemies that you hit with water will have a big bubble that goes around them. And you could either decide to kind of detonate the bubble, which does damage to everybody else, or you could create bubbles that can heal allies. And I just thought like very unique mechanics like that. You just don't usually see that around one element, which can be switched between all different characters. And not only that, each character can use up to 3 weapons. So the types of setups and combos that you have with this game, I thought was really, really well done. The story also it makes you it's a bit of a bittersweet story, but it kind of hits on a more realistic tone, with characters and adventure and danger and things like that. So much shout out to that. And then I also just finished Dragon Quest 3 2D HD. And wow, I was really, really impressed by this game. I think it's definitely a high ranking Dragon Quest game. I don't know if I'd yet put it over what I think is my favorite in Dragon Quest 10, but the beautiful images and gameplay. I should have brought some to post here. Maybe I'll bring it for next week. It's just really well done. The story is simple as usual, but what stood out is through its simplicity, you kind of really quickly felt memorable experiences. The basic story is that the main character is the son of one of the world's greatest heroes, and this hero is thought to have been killed fighting against a great evil. And just in like the opening chapters, you start to figure out that there's signs of all these things that your father did and the impact he left in the world, but there might be something more mysterious kind of going on in the background. So it kind of keeps you going on. There's no character interactions or anything like that, but of course, one of the key things is kind of like Visions of Mana or like Wild Arms, like any Dragon Quest game, a ton of tools that you learn over uh, your throughout your gameplay can be used in the environment, and there are different classes that you can switch between to help um, you gain all the skills that you need. Of course, this is no different than the original game, but what is new is there's a brand new class called the Monster Wrangler, which basically allows you to find monsters in the wild and then summon them to attack enemies as much as you want. And of course, I grinded really hard and kind of broke the game. There's a particular skill you get late in the game called Beast Mode, which basically allows you to do a turn twice, any turn twice. And I had 2 monster wranglers that were able to do a total of 4 attacks back to back, and it's just hard to beat that. Some people, I think, find controversy with that. I was in a group that didn't like the idea of collecting monsters you had to find in the world to get stronger through the monster wrangler, but I thought it was great. The dungeon design, some of the dungeons are a little brutal. I started to go a little bit faster in this game, but Dragon Quest, those bosses will kick you in the teeth. I thought I was cruising, and all of a sudden I was like, yo, this boss still like half HP, and I got nothing left. I'm at no MP. But it ended up a really great experience, and the 2D aesthetic. This game visually, in my opinion, even goes beyond Octopath Traveler 2. I just think some of the imagery is just a little bit cleaner. So I like that it's almost like a small graduation step. And if we see Octopath Traveler 3, I would imagine they will then maybe turn around and outdo Dragon Quest 2D HD. So that was really cool. And then what am I playing now? Oh, of course. Shout out to Nappy and Zero. Oh, Zero's not here yet? No, Zero is here. I'm so glad you guys are here right now because I am playing 100 Line. What is it called? The Last Defense Academy. This is that spiritual combination of a
Oh,
dream team of developers that made things like 999 and made things like
yeah.
Danganronpa, and somehow these two great minds came together, decided to make a game which, in my opinion, having played a Danganronpa and finished Danganronpa, and having played Virtue's Last Reward, which I just love that game. I got the platinum of that game. This game is like almost everything I'd been looking for in something they would make. What I mean by that is you get the deep character personalities, but the one thing I will say, at least so far in my experience, this game is not the who murdered everybody game. This is the game where you're all going to die if you don't figure it out together, and you're a team. And it also has strategy turn-based RPG mechanics, almost like a Oryx Tactics or Final Fantasy Tactics, Zone to Arc style gameplay. But one of the craziest things about the gameplay that I like is sacrificing your character is a mechanic that's within the story. I won't say why or anything like that, but when you are in a critical situation, almost like a limit break, almost death type situation, if you use your special attack, you lose your character for that fight, but it's encouraged. That is kind of like the ability that these characters have. And to kind of think of like you being able to expense your characters in trade for doing, basically changing the course of the battle is kind of cool. It makes you not always have to go, oh, I gotta heal, oh, I gotta, get my defense up. You can really play and roll with the scenarios that you're given. And I'm only still like in the first 25 days. It is 100 days. Defending yourself from who knows what. I'm not gonna say, but it has been really, really special, and I'm so glad that this game exists because I feel like two developers who probably mutually respect each other and probably are friends on some level, for them to make a game together under this new Tokyo Games title is really special to see. So definitely check out 100 Line. It is selling fairly well because we saw that on Steam. At least on Steam, it's also on Switch, but they had 10,000 concurrent players, which is like huge for a game like this. This is not your Final Fantasy level title developer. It's also not out on PlayStation. I feel like there would have been a lot of PlayStation support because all of the
Really?
Danganronpa games are on PlayStation, and all of
It's.
the
I'm
other
sorry.
games. What were you gonna say?
I'm gonna say it's not on PlayStation. That's a
It's
shocker.
not on PlayStation. The reason is because, and this was posted by the developers, is if this game were to not do well, this particular studio would die. Not Spike Chunsoft, because basically the two of them created their own development team, Tokyo Games. Tokyo Games would be
Mhm.
defunct if this game did not sell well, and they didn't have enough funding to even get it released on PlayStation. They wanted it there, but considering we had 10,000 concurrent gamers on Steam, I'm fairly sure they're very happy. Because I promise you, the last game, I bet none of their games have gone over 5,000 concurrent on Steam. So really, really good stuff. Reggie, I know you're a big fan of Zero Escape. This is the game for you because it's different enough from any Danganronpa or any Virtue's Last Reward that you'll feel refreshed and you'll feel the pressure and all these different things. So definitely check it out.
I just added it to the list.
Ah, yeah.
I'm about to say hey, if they have money issues, they can always pull from the Tribe 9. Tribe 9's apparently doing very well. That's their
Yeah,
little
yeah.
money maker right now.
Yeah, I remember you mentioning Tribe 9, and I forgot about 100 Line, but not anymore, man. It's great.
Let's see. Got through 2 entries so far. Next is Nappy. Nappy, man, how you been? What you playing?
I've been doing good. On the PC end, I have been playing Monster Hunter Wilds, of course. Now I finally got through the low tier stuff, so I can get the high tier equipment. So no more story, just me killing monsters,
Okay.
because that's what I love to do. And besides that, playing Split Fiction, got through chapter 2 with my girlfriend. She loves playing as a sci-fi person, and I had no choice but to play as a fantasy girl. And she says the fantasy girls boards suck compared to the sci-fi one. I don't know why, but she really likes a sci-fi character. Other than that, I've been playing around with my Red Magic 10 Pro, which actually I can actually show you a screen of it. No, I've just been playing around with the Red Magic 10 Pro, the ultimate strongest phone you can currently get on the market. Been playing around with a lot of different games, as you can see. From Bright Memory Infinite, Call of Duty Warzone, PGR, Snowbreak, Soul Leveling, Tribe 9, really diving into it, and also seeing all these different gacha games that look very nice. And like, say for instance, one of the top like visually intensive games, for example, would be like Bright Memory Infinite, which if I was to load this up, let's see, where is it? This is apparently the most graphically intense game on the mobile phone right now. Also, I'm trying to get into Warframe's closed beta program, and surprisingly, Game of Thrones is getting its a mobile game as well, which looked very good. I was able to VPN to test out the closed beta a little bit, which the game looks really nice, but it's just a gacha game. And it's like you took a really good IP. Oh, well, this game got download assets. Nope. Verifying game source. But you'll see in a second. I'm actually, will have to say though, with this phone, I am actually extremely impressed with what this phone can do. So let's say, for instance, I will go here, and as you see, you just see the graphics of this game, and that's running on the phone is just insane. And it kind of disappoints. The sad thing about mobile gaming, which I'm probably going to put in my review, is the fact that like you are kind of stuck in a gacha game realm when you phones can run like games like this, and you just like, damn, what would it be like if we had like full-fledged like games with these type of graphics selling for like $30 on the Google Play Store or Apple Play Store?
It's really just
because
about the consumer just getting a taste for that. Consumers used to not paying up front, paying just been dynamic.
Well, the crazy thing about this is when I look at mobile gaming, it's just like, this is honestly like Gen Alpha, which is like the current kids right now. Their entryway into gaming is mostly through their phones, and it's just crazy. Yeah, just every kid has a tablet, every kid has a phone, every kid has like Roblox, Minecraft, what was that bug? Fortnite, especially with that new Sabrina concert that they're doing. But I'm just looking at this game and I'm just like, damn, would it have been nice to have a game like this that's like games like this with no microtransactions for like around 30 USD, and on like the mobile, on like the game store, and just say like, hey, these are the minimum spec requirements that your phone needs to play this. And mind you, this game, this is
cheaper than that. You probably get around $15-$20 because of the large install. Like if people were actually like purchasing games on mobile phones like that, probably get somewhere between 15 and 25 just because of billions of people who play games.
It's just crazy to me that like we have our phones can like run stuff like this. And mind you, this is 100% rendering, so this is like maxed out everything. And it's just like I like I said, I play PGR. I play Snowbreak Attainment Zone. All these
Catch a whole
amazing
person out
games.
really quick. What is PGR? Because I'm thinking Project Gotham Racing. What is PGR?
Punishing Gray Raven. They're the same
Oh,
company that
goodness.
made Wuthering Waves is a better way to put it.
Okay.
So
Disappointed Kofi for a moment.
I know, because I've seen other people post about PGR, and I'm like, oh, and then I see it's like something else. I'm like, oh god.
that's because PGR and Wandering Waves are going through. Well, PGR is going through its like 3-year anniversary, while Wandering Waves is going through its 1-year anniversary. And this game, like I said, the game looks beautiful, and I'm like, damn, this is what our phones can do now.
Yeah.
And all we get is gotcha games.
We saw this on the Xbox stage a couple of years ago, and it looked.
I remember this
beautiful
game.
Yeah, it looked beautiful on console. It looks great on. It looks like an Xbox One game. Like
I remember
Xbox One,
Jubei
PS4
played this
game.
one early.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like Xbox One, PS4 game on.
What game is it?
Bright Memory Infinite.
This is Bright Memory Infinite, and I got this. This is at 100% rendering. So right now I have the game like running at 100% on my Red Magic 10 Pro. So this is the game how it looks in all of its glory.
So it can run on a phone now.
Oh, it's been run on the phone,
But
but
can
it,
your phone run Crisis though?
actually yes, it can. I actually was able to emulate it with a PC emulator. It can run Crisis. So
and
and
Ultra
again,
at max everything.
I don't know about Max. Okay, you're doing
No,
too
no, no, no.
much.
That is the whole
No,
point of
no,
running.
no. This is
running
basically
Crisis.
Crisis for mobile right here. You asking for too much.
No, I'm not. I'm asking for what I'm asking for.
I can't. You know damn well this phone cannot run Crisis at max settings.
Give it 5 years, and
Ah, there we go. Can't slide underwater.
It's getting better and better.
Yeah, but I'm just like looking at this. I'm like, oh, this is nice. I wish how nice would it have been if I could just you know, have more games like this on mobile that wasn't filled with microtransactions. You know how happy we all would be. There's an enemy somewhere around here that's alive, but oh, not damn it. Where is this guy? But anyway, oh, there he is. But anyway, like I was saying before, definitely been diving into mobile gaming a lot because of the Red Magic 10 Pro. As you can see, this is what mobile gaming can look at in all of its glory with 100% rendering. It looks nice and is pretty impressive for what a phone can do. And it just sucks that that like games like this game's a full-fledged game, but it's basically like a tech demo. But the majority of the games you see on mobile are just like microtransactions galore. And even like the game like that is recently about to come out, which is Game of Thrones mobile game, which looks really good, is filled with microtransactions.
That's the business model for mobile, man.
I wanted to change.
Then
Like-
you want them to sell $20, $30 games on mobile stores?
Yes.
Okay, how are you? How is that going to work? You're like you also have to take into account phone battery. That's why these games.
I
do
mean,
what they do.
Okay. I'm about to say, but remember the
I'm not
Game Boy
paying $20
Advance?
just for shit to kill my phone in like
Game Boy Advance
2
had
hours.
batteries. You know, you could pop them double A's.
Get a cooling pack. Get this. Get a little cooling block and put it on the back of your phone. Keeps your battery cool.
The barrier of mobile gaming, as far as the phone is concerned, is that you still want your phone to be a phone.
Well, yeah, it is still a phone. And I just died.
Not when you're gaming. Like, you still want to be able to, do your texting and all of that stuff.
Well, I mean, I will say this. My friend, he tried this game on S25. He was able to run this game without a heatsink at 50% rendering. Right now, I'm running at 100%. So I got this game for him. I got this game for him on the Google Play Store because he has an S25, and I was just curious to see how this game runs on S25, and it runs pretty good at 50% rendering. And also, when we put a cooling block on the back of his phone, he was able to get up to like 80% rendering with no hiccups whatsoever. So it's diving into the history of mobile gaming, or the efforts of mobile gaming and what it can do, is just amazing to me that what mobile phones can do now. And I kind of wish I was like, I want to go back to like having handhelds where we was paying like $20 for like games on the PSP and the Game Boy Advance, which are the two handhelds I had, and just having fun. So
this cooling
Yes.
block, does it fit in your pocket?
yes,
Okay.
it's right here. Yeah, it's a Red Magic 6 cooling block. They got like a multiple cooling blocks. Black Shark makes it. Red Magic makes it. Like, there's a lot. And actually, Red Magic just released a light version of their 10 phone with a slightly smaller battery, and it's not as thick, but it works pretty well. So, oh shit, I jumped down. But yeah, it's just mobile gaming is extremely impressive of what it can pull off. It just sucks that it's the home of microtransactions, and I wish companies would change it. Or at least, like, port over some of the games, like on the PSP, Game Boy Advance, Nintendo DS, port them over to like mobile and put them in the mobile store. I think it will actually do pretty well.
It's something to consumer. It's not really the developer. If developers could sell,
I just don't think people want to use their screen like that.
Yeah,
I just don't. It's not big enough. It's not big enough to play a full-fledged game on. To me, it's just not.
I mean, we play games on the Game Boy Advance. Come on now, we are the generation.
I am now a 34 going on 35-year-old man.
I am a 32-year-old man, and when I'm outside, I could just pull out my phone and I enjoy playing this game on my phone, doing 1 or 2 missions, and I'm happy.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just saying. You think we can't have definitely have games on mobile, like legit full-fledged games? I'm not saying 3D AAA, like AA.
I mean, it could be done.
Nobody our age is walking around with a Game Boy Micro. I'll tell you that.
I
know. We all walking around with a phone. I mean, screens are actually arguably better than what we had back in the day.
I like handheld gaming, but I just don't want to do it on my phone. I want a dedicated handheld.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm agreement.
Yeah.
Damn, nobody.
No, I mean,
you guys don't want to play no Minecraft mobile?
I like handheld gaming.
I don't have no problem playing Minecraft mobile on a dedicated handheld. If I can download the Android.
So if you got a dedicated Android device, you would probably think about it.
Yeah, I would be more open.
Here's the thing. I'm not a fan of touch controls, for one. And two, I'm not lugging around a controller with my phone in my pocket. Like, what? Like, let's be for real here. I'm not doing that.
Get you a little satchel. Get you a little satchel.
Oh my god! I mean, Jubei, come on now.
I put my gun in there. I'm not putting no handheld in there.
You got the blicky and you got the controller.
You say you got the blicky and you got the controller. I think it would be cool. I'm about to die, but I'm just saying. Like, I think that handheld gaming can actually make somewhat of a comeback on mobile scene, especially, come on, Google and Apple love making money, and Apple already somewhat dived into it with some of the games they ported over, which is like full-fledged AAA games, which I don't fully agree with.
They didn't sell. Sold like dog shit. So
well, it shouldn't. I don't think they should put games like that. I think they should put like more smaller titles, like
you just said full-fledged games. Like, what are we talking about here? Like,
not like those AAA, like a heavy graphical games. I'm talking about like games for like the PSP Vita and the Nintendo 3DS. Imagine Borderlands 2 on mobile, because that was on the 3DS. I mean, I'm sorry, not 3DS, on the Vita.
Like a cell shaded game, like a Scarlet Nexus or
Scarlet Nexus could actually possibly work.
Yeah, it would do. It would run.
I'm just saying, like, there's games that can run on mobile. Heck, and I even emulated PC games on this phone where I was able to run Tomb Raider. I was able to run, what was it, Metal Gear Rising.
Like a Tales of Arise could probably run
on. Tales of Arise is good. I try to pick. When I think about mobile game, I try to think about like games that you can pick up, do like a mission, and then like put back down. Like I don't want to be I don't think we should put like games that like are extremely story in depth. I don't think that would do good on the mobile scene because
I don't know.
if
People love
you're
that
playing on the
Genshin
go,
Impact. That's like free base, right?
I mean, it's not too story. I know a lot of people who
It
skip.
has story. It has story, but the story is spend money in our shop.
Yeah, and read all this text, right?
Yeah, and then
If you
Wonder
gotta read all-
Waves is the same thing too.
Yeah,
They have all this
But
story,
I mean,
and you're just like,
that's like saying like I don't know, like Demon Souls 1 has story. Like, it's just I don't know.
I mean, Kofi, we grew up in an
It's
age
there
where
for you.
you played an entire RPG reading text, no voice acting at all.
Yeah,
I mean,
now that story
is there if you want to read it.
The story is involuntary, right? The story in Demon Souls, you ain't got to talk to nobody really. Just
story in Demon Souls is you're not gonna understand it.
You're not gonna be like, remember that scene where somebody said something? No, you could be like, remember that boss? Remember when I got jumped?
Yeah,
I hear you.
I mean, I know a lot of people who played like the Dark Souls games that don't even know shit about the story.
Yeah, that's the sad reality about Dark Souls, about Souls board game. Most of the time, it's the lore thing that you gotta focus on, or you gotta read text.
I mean, I still love them. I love me some Remnant
That's not to say you can't. That's not to say you can't get the lore. Like, and I know people that beat those games a bunch of times, and then now they're just playing it for the lore. You know what I mean? Like, they're role playing in that game. Sometimes it takes time, but like the average everyday person, it's hard. Like the lore is not easily digestible for the average person in those games.
Yeah,
yes,
because they can't make it. If you can't make it past the gameplay hump, the lore is literally the last of your problems because you're going to be so frustrated just trying to play it. Like, who gives a fuck about the story? This guy keeps kicking my ass, and I've been here for 5 hours. Like,
I mean, actually, speaking of which, Monster Hunter would actually be a good game to play on mobile. Like, we don't have a Monster Hunter mobile game.
Well, I mean,
yes, we do.
What do you mean? Like, there's Rise, right? I mean, Rise can run on phone.
I mean, we do for the Switch. Yeah, I'm gonna say
there is a gacha game for Monster Hunter on the phone.
Oh yeah, that we don't talk about that.
But it exists.
I want a real Monster Hunter. That's not you can't even fight the monsters properly. It's like
it's like the Street Fighter game, the Street Fighter gacha they came out with.
Yeah, my God. I mean, Capcom when it comes to their mobile scene, they are kind of
scummy.
I mean,
scummy?
with this,
say the word.
They are scummy. No, because especially with the Devil May Cry Pika Combat, when you see the story and what the game was going to be compared to what it is now, oh my God, they did that game such a disservice. And then they get mad at you when you emulate it on your when you emulate Devil May Cry 3, the Switch edition on your mobile phone, saying, "Hey, there's already a Devil May Cry game on the phone, Pika Combat." I'm like, no, I want to play Devil May Cry 3 with the updated equipment wheel where you get all the weapons and guns in your arsenal.
You want to play special edition? Okay.
Well, yeah, the Switch edition in particular. Switch edition of Devil May Cry 3 is the best one.
No,
because I say Devil May Cry 3 on the Switch is still the best one because you get to play the traditional way or you get to play the modern way where basically Dante has access to all his guns and all his weapons and he can switch different stances on the fly.
That sounds like special edition with extra steps. I just played this once you could play as Virgil, it was over. It was a wrap. The game was easy mode. And then you also have the Dante with the infinite double trigger. Like, I mean, I don't need all the guns. I got infinite double trigger. Who gives a shit?
Yeah, but I'm just saying. I don't want to hold on too much about this. I'm just a little disappointed in the mobile scene because mobile phones can do so much more. But yeah, still we're kind of stuck to gotcha. Gotcha this, gotcha that. Everything is a gotcha game.
Right.
I don't think we would ever get away from the gotcha.
It's free. You have to think it's free entry. Like you're already not paying to play the game. I just don't know how like $20, $30 price games on a phone are going to sell.
Demos.
Because let's keep it a buck. if you create a game that is amazing and played well on mobile and that's not a gacha, you gotta ask 60 for it. People are
Yeah.
not
Well,
gonna pay
60.
60 for it.
You don't
You
have to
have
What's
to.
60?
you don't have to ask for 60 because the install base is so much larger. You'll be able to get, you can find a lower price point because you're gonna have a higher attach rate. Hypothetically.
That's fair. That's
Yeah.
fair. That's fair.
I think they can get away with $20 or $30 games. I think the mobile gaming market has way too many gotchas, and there's like 3 more gotcha games coming out this year that are supposed to be like Genshin Impact / Wuthering Waves, and it's just like, bruh, how much time do you think these people have? Because you
Not
think the
only that,
money,
there's too many of them already. Like we have Zenless, we have Genshin, we have Honkai Star Rail.
Rail.
Like
Yep.
yeah,
and then more is coming. Like yeah, it's oversaturation at this point. Beyond oversaturation. Like who is the target audience of these games?
I don't know.
Nerds that live with their mom.
I mean,
damn.
when you release
Shit.
and have pillows.
it's a
have pillows with ladies on them.
Worldwide audience, man. Like you drop.
I mean, because the
Android
Eastern world,
phone.
this is their main way of gaming, and the Eastern world is through their phones, believe it or not, which is weird to me because I'm like, even though you guys have the best technology, wouldn't you guys want like full fleshed out games?
Japan likes gotcha games though.
It's not even just Japan. South Korea likes gotcha games too. Surprisingly,
like what I'm saying is like that culture.
Like, they don't have a lot of
that culture likes gotcha games.
Yeah, I mean,
so why do you think pachinko and all like that shit is still around? Like, it's cultural at some point.
I mean,
gambling to maybe like that's.
Yeah, I'm just talking about this. Oh, roll this 80 times to get this SSR character. Oh, but if there's a 50-50 chance you can get this SSR character, so if you fail the first time, you got to roll another 80, and then you're guaranteed to get it. And I'm just like, what?
Yeah, but
why?
Another thing you guys got to factor in is like in other countries, people just don't spend as much time in their home.
That's true.
That's sad. That's sad because we barely spend time in our home. I can't. Well, at least I don't. But
like,
I don't know. It's just
literally just a place to bathe and sleep for a lot of other countries. Like they don't have a day where they just sit in the house and chill. Like even like on like a Saturday and Sunday, they be outside. Like because like for instance, like in Europe, a lot of countries don't have AC. So if it's summertime,
yeah, we don't have AC.
Yeah, if it's summertime, you be outside. You don't be just sitting in the house burning away. So.
I mean, yeah. I just wish that that with the way how mobile gaming is going and the progression that it's making, I just wish we can get more legit like actual like games. Like I want it to be. I'm imagining like the 3DS / PSP Vita days, because that was to me, it's still considered like when everybody had handheld gaming. Now I know the Nintendo Switch isn't handheld, but I noticed that more people play it in their house rather than on the go. Like it's
for some of us, it's comfort. The handheld mode is very uncomfortable for me. I hope the Switch 2 changes that.
Yeah, the Switch 1, it's awful to hold, in my opinion.
Terrible.
But you know what? Actually, speaking of which, Jube, you didn't do your intro, and I've been taking up too much of your time.
Jube,
I'm gonna let you get your intro in.
It's actually Zero's turn to give his.
It is Zero's turn. I will happily go last. Sorry, we haven't heard from Zero in.
We have not.
Years.
Nintendo guy.
No, he came to defend Switch's honor as soon as they dropped them prices. Who's here?
Yeah, I'm here.
I mean, I want to know if you guys hands on the pre-release. How well did that go? Target and Best Buy were the only 2.
No, all of them failed me. I went to Target, went to Best Buy. I went to GameStop.
I got in on Best Buy like 2 hours after that shit was open, bro. Like I held out hope.
The Best Buy website
I kept trying,
but I typically have pretty good luck getting my console from Best Buy.
Yeah, I don't think
it was the add to cart part. Like the site would just bug out and be like, "There's no cart."
Yeah,
I was like, "What?"
Walmart had it in the cart, and then when he went to pay for it, it was like, "Oh, something went wrong. It's out of stock." and then it's back in stock, and then it's out of like I'm like y'all got me fucked up. Every time I change the screen, it's gone.
My GameStop completely just shut down. Like the website just stopped working. Period.
I think if you had went to a physical GameStop, you would have got one.
Oh yeah. I could have gone like that morning and picked one up. I'm not too concerned about it. I don't think we're gonna be in the Switch situation where like we aren't gonna.
Yeah, I don't think so. I hope there's not a weird scarcity thing going on.
Yeah,
I mean,
we still have we still also have Nintendo's official waves to happen also.
Yeah, and they're supposed to be much better than everybody else's.
Because that's like email invite. If you get that,
you have to have a Nintendo Switch Online account.
You're getting the console if you can buy it. You know what I mean? So
yeah. So I should be good on that end. Plus, to be completely fair, the only thing I want that they've shown is Mario Kart Tour.
World, yeah, yep.
World, excuse me, yeah. Like that's the only one that stuck out to me currently. So even if I'm like, I don't gotta really wait for the Switch 2 until maybe holiday season when something else is about to drop. Because
I still want to play Metroid. Also, I still want to play Metroid.
Metroid not selling me, man. I was like,
what about the new Donkey Kong game?
Donkey Kong sold me. Yeah,
I'm about to say, like, come on now, that's kind of like their flagship right there for this generation.
Freeze was really good.
That's true.
Yeah,
we haven't gotten a new 3D Donkey Kong
in a while. Yeah, since Tropical Freeze. Yeah, like, and that's kind of shocking considering like he's been in a major motion picture for them. And he just had a land drop at their Universal Studios theme park. So yeah,
yep.
Donkey Kong's kind of due. Kong I played was Donkey Kong 64.
Donkey Kong 64. Yep.
Yep. Oh god, their multiplayer. I remember Donkey Kong 64 multiplayer was good.
Or Donkey Kong. But what's going on, people? Glad to be back. Like everybody else. I've been playing a bunch of games. Omar, I too have been playing Expedition 33, of which I greatly enjoy it. I'm about maybe 4 to 5 hours in. I've got 3 characters.
Okay. You're ahead of me.
Yeah. So that's why I didn't want to say much more other than that. But it's a great game. I generally agree with all of your takes. A map would be very nice. The parry can be a little wonky, so I've just opted to mostly do dodge. But that system reminds me so much of Super Mario RPG that it's a welcome return to form for that, because there weren't a great many games that I can think of that has that system outside of Super Mario RPG. I'm sure there's some, but none I can generally think of.
What, Superstar Saga? Yeah.
No. Yeah. Legend of the 7 Stars. Yeah.
Yeah.
Except it didn't have the parry; it had defense.
Yep.
You would just take less damage. But it's absolutely a great time. It's beautiful. I had to take motion blur off because it was kind of giving me a headache. I don't know if it's my TV or the game. And I was
a lot of people are saying that there's some parts where the graphics kind of are a little rough.
Yeah, I was like, what's going on? Like, this is making my eyes hurt. But outside of that, great to see a small game. Like, then we talking game of the year real early already, but
I'm impressed with what they could do with 30 people in their budget. Now imagine if they had a real budget.
Yeah.
It's 30 plus people. Like, they have contacted.
It ain't more than 50. It's I'm pretty sure it's not more than 50. But I also don't think that they were working with a AAA budget. Like, I want to see them. If they can do this with this money, I want to see them with real money.
Another thing interesting is, these are all ex-Ubisoft devs. So it makes you question Ubisoft fumbled the bag with this one.
I mean,
but
Ubisoft has had good devs, but like it's their management. It's always management. That's why I hated Bonnie Ross when she was at 343. It's always management. That's the differentiator when you have massive budgets. It's management.
And not for nothing. Like, that's how we got some of the great games of yesteryear, right? Like, what is it? Is it not Legend of Dragoon? One of the great RPGs or JRPGs is like a combination of folks from Earthbound and folks from Final Fantasy all coming together to like make their own thing. And so
At
when you're able to,
Ubisoft, right? The one with the child. I know what you're talking about. The one with the
no.
sword.
This is an old game. It could be Earthbound, quite frankly. But you
Ooh,
know,
Earthbound.
when you bring together great talent, or great talent might want to come together to make something that they want to make. And that's a good opportunity. And perhaps if we shift back towards that, that's not so bad, especially if games are a little cheaper, a little shorter, but still pretty good. I don't know if we get a lot of complaints out of that. Um, but on top of that, still moving my way through Kazan. Absolutely love the game. Talk about something where I do not at all care about the story. I don't care. I'm just here to fight bosses.
Exactly.
He said, "I'm just here to throw hands."
I'm
That's
just
it.
here to throw hands.
Ain't,
That's all I
hey,
care
ain't
about.
nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, so like they talk about like blah 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 war, blah 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 betrayal. I don't care. I don't care. But it's a blast, man. Like
That's the sad reality.
I do be skipping. I do be skipping the dialogue. I'm like,
yeah,
That's the
like
sad
Kofi,
you
I
gotta
reality
know
go
with
you'll
easy.
love
Souls
it.
game, man. That's the
What's
So
that?
sad
Souls
reality
games,
with Souls game, isn't
During
it?
your
I think
go-through
it
shit.
depends. Souls games like make you hunt for the story. Kazan is telling you the story straight up. I just simply don't care what they got going on. Like, I just want to go back to fighting more. It's a little similar to when I played Wukong. Wukong was
Ah.
only cool because like I got like because I know it's Journey to the West, so like some of that is actually pretty interesting, and like, you know, I'm a big proponent of so long as it's not Greek or Norse gods, like I'm ready to learn and listen. But for the most part, I didn't really care what they had to say either. Like I just want to fight with the monkey man.
Even
This joint
Wukong
was cool.
didn't get too interesting.
I mean,
Uh,
Wukong made me interested in the actual story. And the actual
Yeah.
story is Journey to the West. So I could just like read Journey to the West, but it's like 50 books or something. Like it's ridiculous.
You can watch. You know how many Journey to the West movies there are?
Yeah,
Take a
like I
pick.
feel
Yeah.
like Dragon Ball covers some fun stuff, right?
Yeah,
Wasn't there an old game? Is Enslaved Journey to the West on PS3?
Slave
That's
Journey
over
to the
there.
West
Not
covers
gonna
that
lie,
also.
one of the worst ending will come to Enslave. I love the game though, but the ending is so weird.
Yeah, they kind of left it like, so what happened?
Other than that, of course, like everybody else playing Monster Hunter, got to hunt. It's spring festival time, so got to do my
Wait,
event
did you
quest.
did you did
By
you
the
get
way,
the
Nappy.
through low tier?
Oh yeah,
Oh,
Nappy,
Reggie's passed us, man. Yo, Reggie
wait,
blazed us, Nappy.
I'm like HR 100.
Yeah, he said,
Oh,
what
damn.
level are you now, Nappy?
Ooh, I'm only like HR like 8 or 9. No,
Oh,
I'm
good
HR
lord.
like I'm not that high up. I gotta play some more. I've been doing a lot, and I've been outside. Actually, I realized that I'm.
Y'all
You been
y'all
outside?
letting the almost married man lap y'all. What are y'all doing?
I'm sorry. Okay.
Hey man, I told you when
I'm not
Monster
gonna lie,
Hunter's here,
Nappy.
I'm locked in.
So Reggie's 100. I'm not that, but I'm HR 60.
Okay,
All right.
I'm
okay.
not as bad,
I
but
need to
playing
catch up
Monster
to
Hunter
both of
too.
y'all. I need to catch up to both of y'all. I'm about to do nothing but Monster Hunter because that's ridiculous.
No, you're not. You're gonna turn on that damn
Switch
red
Act
magic
Light.
pro. Gonna do
Yeah.
what you're doing right now.
Well,
But
this is just for a YouTube video and also just to dive deep into mobile gaming. But I'm about to put this down and just focus on strictly Monster Hunter.
hey,
After
speaking of
this.
real life, the last pseudo gaming thing I kind of did was I went and saw a thing, and that thing being Until Dawn.
Oh.
I
Oh,
went and
was
saw
it?
the movie this weekend.
Wow.
It's okay.
I didn't want to hear that. That's trash.
Yeah.
Horror
It's
movies are
not
trash.
bad. It's not. I'm not gonna say it's bad. I don't know how I would compare it to Uncharted.
It's a Sony movie.
Because they're just doing two very different things, and one is a straight up horror movie, and like horror movies just operate differently.
But Sony doesn't do good at movies for most of their kind.
Kind of doo doo. Yeah, you're not wrong.
They're not good. They're not bad. They're just kind of like, if I need something to watch, I can watch.
So it's cool though. The premise being it's not necessarily the game, but it tries to incorporate the sort of quote unquote video game-ness of it. And this is all just trailer stuff. The general premise is like a bunch of kids show up to a house and then they are automatically locked in, and the goal is to survive until dawn, hence the name of the title. But of course, there is a wide variety of things slaughtering them over and over and over again. But the longer you go on, the more likely it is that you're not going to be coming back this time. So it's a race against time, both literally and figuratively, in the movie. It's fun. It's got some good moments. My general criticism is it doesn't do a very good job of explaining why any of this is happening. And I said I couldn't
it's
figure
a
out.
movie, isn't it? Like,
Well, and then I had to think about like I don't remember if Until Dawn did a very good job of explaining why any of this is happening.
they
So it could
did.
be
They actually
true
did
form.
at the end with who is the bad guy and stuff like that.
So
Like
yeah,
Until
like
Dawn.
it's there.
Like Until Dawn, the game.
Yeah, like the game.
I heard the movie is doing abysmal at the box. So like you like really.
I wouldn't be surprised though. Like first and foremost, it's up against Sinners, which is going to put it completely down.
Oh, did you do the Sony challenge, the 12-hour all night Until Dawn thing, or you just?
No, I just watched it one time.
Oh wait,
What's Sony challenge?
They had like a Sony movie theater challenge where you had to watch the movie for 12 hours straight. Like no bathroom breaks, no sleeping.
Watch Until Dawn 12 hours straight?
Yeah.
Good lord, that sounds awful.
That movie's
Why
only
would
an hour
somebody do that?
43. That's a lot of viewings of that movie.
Watching it 12 times is insane.
About
That's
10
crazy.
or 11 times.
Why?
It's insane.
It was the Sony
If
challenge.
it-
Y'all can look it up. Sony put out the
He
challenge. I
said,
think
why?
if you did the
He
12
straight up was
hours,
like, why? Why are we
you
doing
won
this to ourselves?
$5,000 or
What
something
do you-
like that.
Oh, okay.
Do they not want people to enjoy the movie? Like, I mean, yeah, people's falling asleep with Lord of the Rings when it was in the theaters. I know damn well they ain't going.
It's the Until Dawn challenge. I understand.
Kofi.
Because they want you to sit into the movie from night until morning.
Yeah.
That's stupid.
Kofi, you remember you and I went to go see that third Lord of the Rings movie, and I kept getting up because I thought the movie was over.
Yo, he did. Yo,
I got up
stood up for
I got up like 3-4 times clapping because I thought the movie was over.
Oh, yo, I was out clapping. I totally forgot about that joke. For real, yo, it was like great film. And people turn around like, yo, what?
It was still going on. I was like,
Yo, nah, Arrow,
I thought the
some
movie
things you
ended-
got to take to your. Some things you got to take to your grave, brother. I would have never. You. That
movie. No, that's not an L on me. That movie was too long. I thought the movie ended like 3-4 times.
I mean, Two Towers is the better film, for sure.
Two Towers is awesome, but the third movie, like,
Yeah,
it
Two
had
Towers is so good.
like, I mean, and it was all within like a 15-minute span. I kept getting up and clapping.
Yeah.
I thought the movie was over. I was like, oh, it's over. Oh no. Huh?
Yeah. So I'd recommend it. But probably you could probably wait till it comes on TV.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I mean, and better Sony news: Twisted Metal's coming back, season 2.
Saw that.
Yeah,
It got approved.
That was a critical success. That movie, I mean, that show did very well.
Yeah.
So, but I think also because you had Anthony Mackie attached to it, and his name was pretty big at the time. Not sure how big his name is at this very moment, but at the time,
I mean, Captain America did well.
Also,
I'm surprised. Yeah, actually, Captain America, as you watch the movies, actually did decent.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if it was critically acclaimed, but it actually sold pretty decent. I was like, oh,
yeah.
Yeah, a lot of people were about to mock that show too, and it was.
I saw a lot of people complain about the runtime, like it was kind of short, and they said that the action scenes weren't all that. So I wasn't sure.
It just doesn't do anything.
I just saw the box office. I was like, oh, people actually went out to see this.
Yeah.
It's a cool movie. It's just largely not that memorable compared to any other Captain America movie.
I mean, Winter Soldier is like the only one that matters. Like the first one is
If
like,
I like Civil War.
if you're a fan of the
Civil War to
original
me
Hulk,
isn't a Captain America film. It's like
it's a mini Avengers movie.
Yeah, it's an Avengers. It's good, but I consider it more to be an Avengers. Like, yeah. Avengers.
Yeah, but Until Dawn. Good to see that video game movies are still managing. Like I say, won't say it's bad.
Mm-hmm.
Can't say it's great.
It's a Sony movie.
Yep.
Like, even like when Sony does a movie good, it's not even that good. Like the Venom movies, they're done well, but they're not that. Morbius is done well, but it's not that good. Like they just don't make really great films. Like outside of like Spider-Man 2, like do they have like? I mean, it's not really a lot of great.
I mean, Into the Spider-Verse is their movie.
That's a cartoon.
That's a movie.
Cartoon movie. Don't. We're talking about live action.
It does count because it's from Tony.
No, we're talking about their live action movies. Like outside of Bad Boys and Spider-Man 2, like movies generally
they're
are
fine.
And what is it? Into the Spider-Verse? That was a movie that they were pretty hands off on. They just kind of funded the first one. It took off, and they was like, "Oh, we need more of these now."
It's their movie. Ghostbusters
is
their movie.
Ghostbusters wasn't all that.
Ghostbusters was fine. It's just as good as the originals.
Huh?
Men in Black is their movie.
Yeah, those movies aren't all that. I'm not saying they're bad. Not all. They don't have great films. They have like C to B plus film. That's kind of what they do.
If you say so.
I mean, if you can
21
name
Jump
like
Street is their
5
movie.
What?
21 Jump Street is their movie.
Which is
The
cool.
Lego
I
movies
like 21 Jump Street.
Lego Jump Street was actually really good, and 22 was okay.
I like.
I would argue one of the best comedies of the past couple years.
Yeah, I like 21 Jump Street. It's like kind of in that not Pineapple Express. What's the one with McLovin?
Super bad.
Yeah, it's like
Super Bad.
It's like that super bad vein. Yeah, like it. Gives me super bad feel. But let's keep it going because we're an hour into the show. We're not done intros. So Juve.
Jesus Christ.
Last but not
All right, I'll
least,
keep it short.
man.
Yep. Y'all ate up all the time. I'll keep it short.
My bad.
No, you could. So yeah, what have I been playing? Let me consult the list. So I finally finished Origins. We spoke. That was fun. I've been playing I've been playing a fuck ton of Oblivion.
The remaster?
Yes, the remaster. I don't know what about it. It's always been a time sink, and you look up and like 4 hours have passed, and you're just like, I just walked from over here to over here.
Would you recommend it to somebody who's never played Oblivion before?
I absolutely would recommend it. There's some quality of life there. Even leveling up is so much better than the OG Oblivion.
They're saying there's some issues with the UE5 engine. Would you tell someone to wait for a couple patches and then play it, or would you just say jump?
If you play on performance mode, you're fine. There's the occasional like it's locked up on me once where like my character just froze and I couldn't move and I had to quit all the way out and back in. That's happened once. Slowdown has happened like mid combat or like I get like hit back or something and then like it was crazy slowdown and then back. But like it's just UE5 stuff, but it's not unplayable.
It's like mainly stuttering.
It runs great on PC.
I'm not even really seeing stuttering, at least not on performance mode, but that quality mode runs like dog shit. I was very surprised. I'm like for minimal like visual improvement, like that quality mode is not worth it at all. I was
apparently,
like, fuck that.
UE5 is only handling the visuals in that game.
Yep.
Still creation engine underneath.
So that's where the jank comes from.
Well, yeah, you gotta have the traditional jank with Oblivion. It wouldn't be Oblivion without it.
But yeah, I started Expedition 33. I made it through the first cutscene, and then I was like, I'm gonna go back and play Oblivion. Not that I didn't like it. I was just I need to get back there. So
Alright.
I need to hop in there. My my Switch search was fruitful, so happy about that. Not really happy about it because it was a pain in the ass, but sure, happy it's over.
Okay.
Um, yeah, I did go see Sinners.
Alright.
Um,
What'd you think about that? I didn't get to see it
excellent
yet.
fucking film. Excellent.
Okay.
Excellent
Some
film.
people are like in between. They're like it's the best thing ever,
Uh,
or there were some issues with it where it's just like a
I don't
7 to
know.
an 8.
As someone who hates horror movies, I'm like, thank you for like killing all the tropes. Like, thank you for showing black folk how we act. We're not gonna be we're not the first ones to die in these movies, bro. We have too much common sense. We're not gonna go investigate some weird shit. That's a cultural thing. Like, stop portraying us like this. You watch Until Dawn, yeah, they got real curious. Oh, man, y'all are stupid. Like, no, nobody really worth a damn is gonna go do that.
First thing we gonna ask
Oh,
is who over
hell,
there? Who else we
exactly.
going into? Who over there?
Well, facts. No, it's a fantastic movie. Definitely go see it. Um, can't recommend it enough. Easily, probably one of the best vampire movies I've ever seen.
Okay. Yeah, they're saying there's sequels already maybe in the work.
You're gonna either have to do a prequel or something else.
Something else. Yeah.
Uh,
Feels like a
but no,
great opportunity to just
it
tell a
has
whole nother
great
story.
lines. Exactly, they could tell an entirely different story set somewhere else. Because I highly doubt there's only one vampire that you know. Can-
My favorite vampire movie is Interview with a Vampire. So I'm gonna check out Sinners.
Facts. You know what? Facts.
That's my favorite vampire movie. But
Actually,
uh, yeah, you got
Because no,
uh,
it captures like all the mystique of the vampires without being like stupid.
yeah.
Like that's why I fucks with that movie. Like you are spot on, for sure.
But that said, we can finally make it to the What's on Your Mind portion of the show. Let me go ahead and throw a timestamp on that.
I say we said that with our intros, the way how we were talking.
Yeah,
And see, I told you I was
yeah.
gonna be short and quick. Like
All right.
I just wanted to get through it.
So this can literally be like 30 seconds. Does anybody have anything non-topic related
Yep, I sure do.
that is on their mind? All right, Jube, what you got?
hmm The NFL can kiss my ass. I'll say that. Um, I don't like how they did my boy. As somebody who's been in Colorado for damn near 20 years, that school has never been good
Are you
until
doing
recently.
Shador?
Yes, I'm 100% talking about Shador Sanders.
Okay.
100%. They got me fucked up. Y'all ain't have to do my man's like that. Get it? He's
Well,
cocky. He's a bunch of things. It's not. It wasn't a talent reason that he fell to the fifth round. It was
oh
not that.
no.
They made an example out of him, and I don't like it.
I'll say it early. He was the best quarterback in the draft.
Easy.
But
If not, then two. Then he was number two.
no,
Even if you wanted to put Cam in front of him,
Cam's not better than him as a quarterback. Sorry, he's
he's
not.
not.
If
From an optic standpoint, yes,
if
but as far as talent, no.
if Shador would have played at a major program, he'd have 2 national champions.
Yep.
But it is what it is. But it in the end, it worked out for him. He went to a team that doesn't have a starting quarterback. He's gonna get an opportunity to start.
Is he though being buried that far? He has Joe
He's not.
Flacco.
He's not buried.
Yeah, he has Kenny Pickett. He has the dude that he was absolutely better than that was drafted before him.
Dylan
I'm just
Gabriel.
like, that's a lot. Yes,
But
trash.
but the thing is,
Trash.
none of those guys are guaranteed a starting job. None of them. All of those guys could be cut. Like outside of Dylan Gabriel and Shador, I don't think any of the other 3 quarterbacks, Deshaun Watson, Flacco, or
You think they're just camp bodies?
Well, I think Deshaun Watson's locked in because of his contract, but I think
Yeah, they can't get rid of him, but he's not playing this year.
I think Flacco is locked in because he took him to the playoffs. I think Kenny Pickett, if he's not the starter, he's cut.
Okay, that's fair.
So Deshaun Watson's going to be on IR because of his Achilles. So
Yes, he's done.
if Kenny doesn't start the season as the starting quarterback, he's going to get cut. And I think, I think right now I think Kenny Pickett would get cut. Dylan, I think the roster is going to be Gabriel, Shador, and Flacco. And I'm not sure if Shador will start the season as a starter, but I think at some point he'll get a chance to play and he'll get a chance to start. I think he'll be Cleveland's long-term starter.
I just want to know how much time in the preseason he's going to get. Like I said, that's a lot of people that you want to possibly see.
He's going to get a lot of time in the preseason. Flacco's not playing in the preseason. It's going to be Pickett because Flacco's about 20 years in the league. He don't have nothing to play for and prove. It's going to be the other three guys.
That's true.
The only way that Flacco plays is if the Browns get the Hall of Fame game. The Browns get the Hall of Fame game and they have 4 preseason games. I could see Flacco playing, but otherwise, not happening. Too old. Not even worth it for him. He's not going to get anything out of it.
Besides an injury.
Yeah, besides the potential. Which is pretty durable.
Yeah, that was my thing. I like the league got some bullshit going on. I don't fucks with that.
They always do. They always do.
How a whole coach's child get a hold of a number that he ain't supposed to have?
Oh, he called a lot of people. He didn't just call Shador. He called he called like 15 of the top players and told them that, well, he told one kid he got traded after he got drafted.
Yeah, I saw it. That's so fucked. No, like I need to see repercussions against his dad. I don't give a fuck if that's your child. You're still responsible. If he was in the military and your kid do something, you're still responsible for that. So that's all I'm saying.
All right.
I need to see something come of that.
Yobi has a question for What's on Your Mind segment. As much as Draymond Green puts pause on NBA players, why has no one knocked his ass out yet? Fans really untouchable? Well, I think NBA players don't like to fight. One, a lot of them are fake tough guys.
If you break your hand, you ain't playing no ball. That's all I gotta say.
Draymond's background is a little bit different. He wasn't a basketball player primarily. He was a football player who played basketball. I think he was a tight end at Michigan State. So, he's a little bit more aggressive than most NBA players. He got a little bit of CTE built up already. You know what I'm saying?
Oh gosh.
And there was actually one basketball player who decided to fight Draymond in the offseason, and that was Tristan Thompson. It was at one of LeBron's parties or something like that. LeBron and Draymond are really close outside of basketball. And he said all that shit you was talking on the court. You know what I'm saying? It's time to collect. But apparently it got broke up, and so they're not everyone's scared of Draymond. He has tested one guy at least. I think other guys like Carmelo. I think Carmelo would have gave Draymond hands if they really had an issue. Who else? That like played in Draymond's prime. I think maybe Jimmy Butler. Jimmy Butler would have.
Ron Artest would have ran up on his shit.
Ron Artest wasn't playing in Draymond's prime.
I know.
I'm talking about players that were playing at the same time that Draymond was like.
Oh, okay.
Being like a savage.
Got you. It ain't LeBron.
No, Bron's not much of a fighter. It doesn't seem.
He ain't going at nobody.
I mean, he not doing anything that messes with the money. Cause like you saw, whatchamacallit, Gobert put the forearm into Bron's head and neck area yesterday. But he's not going to do nothing that messes with the money. Bron cheap. Bron uses Stream East. He don't even use pay-per-view streams. he uses crack stream. No, it's just the truth. He uses crack streams and meth streams and streamies. Like, bro, he's cheap. He all about the money, bro. Yeah, Ron Artest. Oh, what's that dude for the Pistons right now? Isaiah Stewart. Yeah, like Draymond know
Isaiah
who not to
Stewart.
mess with. Isaiah Stewart would definitely put some
the mitts
hands
on
on
him?
Draymond. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think Isaiah Stewart about to get kicked out of the league because he not nice, but he always be getting in the fight.
And the league is like, you ain't doing enough to make us not look
Yeah,
bad,
this ain't
brother.
this, this
I'm
ain't
gonna need you
hockey,
to
bro.
this ain't hockey.
But yeah. So I mean, I think some people would definitely fight Draymond. It's just far and few between in today's NBA, but it's a couple guys out there. But with that said, we have ended the "What's on Your Mind" portion. Fine, because we like killed it in intros, and we can get on to our first topic of the day, which I kind of like blended two together because we couldn't ignore Oblivion's success and only talk about Expedition 33s. So both Expedition 33 and Oblivion launched massively this week, with Oblivion experiencing 4 million players in its first week. And I don't think we have a player count for Expedition 33, but we do have that they sold 1 million copies in 3 days. So that game is doing phenomenal, especially as a game that's made by an independent studio. I don't want to call it a double A game. It doesn't feel double A, but like from what I'm hearing, I haven't played it yet. The issues with the map, you can see where they had to make certain sacrifices to get the game out the door at the budget that they had earmarked for the title. Um, so yeah, it's really great to see, and you know the reason I haven't turned on Expedition 33 yet is because I heard that it's very emotionally intensive story, and from what I've seen, leading up to the game, I've heard that there's a lot of depth to the story, a lot of interpersonal relationships, things like that, and just decisions that these characters have to make. And once I turn that on, I don't want to play anything. I want to focus on
Yep.
that purely. So I
So
haven't touched it yet, but I am. I expected this game. I think I've been saying it for the past couple months now that this game is probably going to be um game of the year. If not win it, it's definitely going to be a nominee just because I could just tell what the type of story it is that it could probably be that way. Um, I'm actually going to go with Zero first because he has the most playtime with the title, it seems. Zero, what are your thoughts on Expedition 33 success? And give us a little talk about your gameplay and your experience with
I think the success is wildly deserved. It is simply just a good game. In a way that, like, in a game that doesn't really ask for much out of you. And I think that's part of what's making this so very successful. On its very core, like, it is a not J, because really an F RPG, but for lack of a better term, it's a JRPG, right? So if you're familiar with Persona, it's very close to that, or if you've been playing Metaphor, it's very close to that, and how like the battle system is laid out. Except it's prettier depending on how you like things to look. I'm seeing a lot of discourse around like turn-based JRPGs are back, and a lot of people saying turn-based JRPGs have never left. But it sounds like really the issue just being they want turn-based JRPGs that look like Final Fantasy VII Rebirth.
Yep.
Well,
Yeah.
whatchamacallit seems to be that currently. And it works very well. And I think it also is very helpful that it's not a really long game. Almost everything else we expect is minimum 80 hours, right? Metaphor, Persona, all Suikoden, all of these are 80+ hour affairs, which do well, but can really, really like drag on for a lot of people that aren't into that particular type of genre. And I think part of this game's success is reaching a market of folks who aren't necessarily willing to play the 80-hour JRPG, but be willing to try this one because it doesn't seem to be as long. It reminds me a little bit of what Monster Hunter World did for the Monster Hunter series. Monster Hunter always existed as this sort of niche realm for Monster Hunter fans. World brought it to the mainstream and streamlined a lot of things that made it much more manageable and approachable for those who never really played the game before. And obviously, it was a runaway success. Expedition 33, I think, shares that sort of same methodology of frankly, sometimes less is more. Like, just make the game as, neat, tight, and keep this story as good as possible. Pharaoh, you mentioned the story. I'm not completely through it all, but the entire premise is fascinating.
Yeah.
And the opening scene is one of the better opening scenes I've seen in a game in quite a long time.
Yeah.
And it'll go up there with me for like, God of War 2, or Uncharted 2. Like there's some games that just open fantastically, and
Yeah.
this is one of them.
RPGs is kind of
and
tough to open fantastically a lot of times because you try to lead people into the story.
Exactly.
So but this game is a shorter game, so that's probably part of it too. It's only meant to be like a 40-hour game, I think.
Was it 30 or 40? I think you're right. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's supposed to be around 40 hours.
And you're absolutely correct, because if this were 80 hours, I can see how it would be stretched and padded out.
Yeah.
Like we might not even leave on the titular expedition until probably 10 hours in.
Yeah.
And they're like, no, we're getting straight to the point. But the mechanics are wonderful. The characters good. Shout out our Daredevil, Charlie Cox. He's the main character
nice.
in the game. So like he's the voice for the main character. To be fair, they are barely French in the game. France is just
should we play this with French audio, or is that
I
doing too
tried
much?
it. I tried it actually with the audio. It's, not gonna lie, English is better, and I love Japanese dub. So I was maybe expecting French to,
Interesting.
be on the same level, but nah, Japanese, French didn't hit that different for me.
Okay.
And I just don't speak very much French, so I didn't, I just stick to the English that I know. But it's good. Like the characters are really interesting. I do wish that they did maybe just a bit more on clarifying and teaching you what things are, and how to navigate through its menus and sort of elements. I think the best I can consider is like if you look at Final Fantasy VIII and where they introduced the junction system, and the junction system is a lot. And learning that system is like a task all in of its own. But Final Fantasy VIII does like really walk you through.
Yeah.
Expedition kind of throws a lot of terms at you, and it's their own made up terms for the things that are in their world. And occasionally I'm like, wait, what am I supposed to be doing? It does what? And it's not too difficult. Like it doesn't take long to learn. But I think it would be okay to just get a bit of a easier course in getting people to understand what's going on and how like you level up weapons or how you level up skills and what do these points do. Because it's not always terribly clear.
Like they're basically depending on you being a semi RPG veteran.
Or just like managing through. Veterans will have no particular issue with it, because like you'll either figure it out or just power your way through. Because I too am playing on the hardest difficulty, and so far the only challenge is just getting the timing right on the parry and or dodge, which is just like rinse and repeat learning.
Yeah.
Is the parry stronger than the dodge? I know you get like you hit back when you parry, right?
Yeah, but not every time, not for all enemies.
Okay.
Apparently, what you call it, the parry, even on normal and easy, it's not doing well.
Yeah, and so it'll like, so there are skills that augment your parry and your dodge. So the system is called like the AP system. And AP is how you get enough skills. Enough points to then use your skills So like you start off with like 4, and each time you do an attack, you get 1 more. Or there are certain attacks that will give you more AP depending on scenario. So like say if they're burned, you can get more. There's a shooting mechanic that I think I just might have missed it, or I don't know if it said it. The shooting mechanic uses AP, and for like the first 2 hours of the game, I kept shooting and then wondering why I never had enough like points to use skills. And then I was like, oh, because the shooting
That's what
takes
uses AP.
the skill. Yeah, I was like, okay, that
I'm
could
not
be
sure
on
if
me.
I'm not sure if they explained it or not, but yeah, you gotta figure
Yeah,
it out on your own. That's all he did.
yeah. But the game is so enthralling that it's not like a slog to do it. It's just like, oh, I wish I might have known this sooner. But I'm so happy for its success. I wish nothing but the best for all the folks who made it, and that they get another opportunity to make something good. Like this is what everybody's wanting, right? Like everybody just wants new stuff from new people making interesting things.
Okay. And just so I don't go around the horn again on a particular topic, is this does this game in its turn-based style kind of prove that Final Fantasy made a mistake by going action-based? And after you answer that, any thoughts you have on the Oblivion remaster will be welcome if you haven't. But if not,
Well, let me do Oblivion first then. So I've not gotten to play it yet. However, I did download it because I'm very, very interested in doing it, and it'll probably be my first of this ever type of Bethesda game that I'd ever play.
okay.
The only one I've ever come close to is Fallout.
Oh yeah, I forgot you didn't play Starfield. I forgot.
Yeah, and I only played a little bit of Starfield, but I feel like their claim to fame is this sword and magic fantasy Oblivion Skyrim type of deal. That like I'm interested, and it's one hell of an upgrade. I'll give them that. Like I was looking at the old screenshots to the new one. It's one hell of an upgrade. So I think it should be a good time. As for Expedition 33, no, I don't. I personally don't think they made a mistake, particularly with Final Fantasy Rebirth, because quite frankly, the battle system has not necessarily been the complaint for most of the modern Final Fantasy.
They're not focusing on Rebirth, more like 16.
I don't even think the battle system. I mean, there was a lot of commotion around the battle system in 16, and it definitely kind of has its like weird moments, but comparatively to like how we talk about 15, people just don't like the story of 15, turn based or not. It was like we don't really like the story of this game.
I would say
So
16 with the combat. The issue with 16 wasn't that it was action based; it was that they abandoned all the RPG elements
Yeah,
to make it a pure.
No
it's a
no status
combination of
elements.
both.
Like it was just a whole thing.
So
The no
in that
status elements
sense,
really killed me.
yeah. So in that sense, yes. But like if we're just talking, because the conversation is not Final Fantasy 16, it's Final Fantasy.
Yeah,
And if we're talking Final Fantasy
series, yeah,
yeah, and because in my head, like if we talk about fantasy, we talk about the most recent fantasy, not 16. So if we don't have a problem with Rebirth, which has a pseudo kind of turn-based system, if you want it, and largely because we enjoy Final Fantasy 7, Expedition 33 just did it, and I think it's cool. Would it probably be lesser than if it didn't have one? Possibly, because I don't know if they had the budget to make a pretty interesting action game. So it's a great way to like save on costs to just make it a turn-based game. But I don't know if I agree that if 17 is turn-based, that everyone will love it, because that is not, to me, what's ever made a Final Fantasy. That's just something a Final Fantasy happened to be.
Yeah.
The stories are the only things that people ever remember in these games. Sephiroth isn't one of the greatest villains in gaming history because you had to wait a turn to hit him. Like he's one of the greatest villains because his story is fantastic and he's a wonderful antagonist. Same with Kefka, or Tamika or all the other ones. Like the turn base is cool, but no one ever really talks about the turn base and their history of Final Fantasy. It's always
Nope, it's
everything
always
else,
the story. It's always the story
Yeah.
and everything
or
else.
this, yeah, or the side games, or it's Blitzball, or it's Tetra Triad, or it's Triple Triad. You know, it's
Yeah.
or the Golden Saucer. We don't ever really dwell on the battle system because it doesn't matter that much. But I understand purists want what they want. It for me, no. I don't think this game should affect the Final Fantasy series in any meaningful way. And that's not even to say if they want to make 17 a turn-based game that they shouldn't do it. I mean, go for it. Just make a good story that goes along with it.
I think they need to respect the budget because, like I said, like if this little ass team can do it, y'all don't need to have over bloated budgets.
I can agree with that.
The one thing I'll say in regards to Final Fantasy and their decision making when it comes to combat systems is stop changing it for every mainline fantasy.
I can agree with that too.
Wait, stop changing
Yep.
what?
The battle system. Every mainline.
Really? Stop
Fan-
changing.
Yeah, stop changing it every mainline fan. But not like I'm not saying it don't change it at all. You know, innovate it, improve it. Maybe change it every 2 or 3 games.
Yeah.
But to
Okay.
change it every single time, you know, you have people not focusing on the main thing. You're giving people something to complain about. Really don't have to. Not saying like
Hey.
not saying that like 16 had to have the materia system. Like that's what I'm saying. You can have like slight differences to cater to what makes 16 different from 7, from 9, from 8. You know, like you can cater it to whatever that specific game is, but keep the battle system largely intact. So people have a certain expectation of what type of combat they're going to play mainline Final Fantasy game for at least a couple iterations.
Kofi, the trial system uses pretty much the same battle system throughout the entirety of the series, right?
Okay, so there's 13 games. The first 5 are nearly identical. Well, I'll say the first 5 are like this 2D Octopath Traveler, and turn-based. And then you enter the Cold Steel era. It is still turn-based. So I guess that's fine to say. Things change in game 10, 12. I'm sorry, 10, 11, and I'm sorry, 12, 11, 12, and 13. I cannot count. Where the game becomes action-based. It's almost like playing East and Trails. But yeah, for those first like 10, 11 games, it is turn-based. It changes ever so slightly, but I'll tell you this: the community is not at arms with each other despite the changes, and that's why I don't know how I feel about Final Fantasy sticking to any plan, whether they change it a lot or change it a little bit or completely change it every game. I'm kind of fine with the experimentation. I think 16's idea was bad. I think 13's idea was bad. 15, I'm not going to say it was like horrible. I just didn't like 15.
They shouldn't have explained it better. Definitely should have explained 15 better.
But yeah, like the lack of, like you guys already said it, the lack of RPG mechanics, like using fire against bomb-ombs and it just hurts them.
Dude,
Felt so awful.
I am still salty about
Oh, why?
that
It's like,
one.
Or like
you'd expect it to heal them, and it's like, wait, that did damage. Why?
right.
Yeah.
Or like, remember when the Behemoth, it would do like meteorite and you could just dodge it, and I'm like, that just doesn't feel like I'm not preparing. There's no sort of skill besides pressing circle at the right time. I just did not like that at all.
Yeah.
But I love Rebirth. I think Rebirth is just incredible. But at the same time, like Reggie was saying, how story is how characters become memorable. I'll tell you this: Final Fantasy 16, when Hugo Kupka was going against Clive, I felt the pressure in the room. I was like, "Hey, yo, they about to go down."
Yeah.
And I love big moments like that. Or against like Odin, that was freaking amazing. So if they could just maybe keep me engrossed with more mechanics like Rebirth, I'm fine with like a Tales of type mechanic or Star Ocean type mechanic. Sign me up. And if they go turn-based, I probably would be most happy. I will be very honest. But there are so many other turn-based games that Square Enix makes. I'm fine with Octopath Traveler and Dragon Quest and what's it called? Monster Hunter Stories and I'm sorry, that's I'm sorry, that's not Square Enix, that's Capcom. I meant to say
Or Bravely Default.
Bravely Default.
Bravely Default's a big one. But what's the other one that's Revenge of the Seven? What's it called? Something Revenge of the Seven. Oh, Romancing Saga.
Oh, man.
Great, and that has a lot. It's not just Romancing Saga Revenge of the Seven. It's also Emerald. It was called what? Romancing Saga, like Emerald Saga or something like that. I don't even own that RPG. But that's also Square Enix. And just got to go over here and look at my list to make sure I didn't forget anything. There's something else that Square Enix has done that is turn-based. And it's just been... I don't have enough time to even catch up with all that Square Enix has done, turn-based. So a majority of the RPGs are turn-based. Excluding Star Ocean. Excluding Dealfield Chronicle, I suppose. And a few others.
What's the common denominator between all those games? They are lower budget. It's more
lower budget does not mean less. Now, okay, we're talking specifically games that look pretty that might make a certain population interested. That's fine.
I'm not saying that the games are any better or worse. But the point that I'm making is that turn-based games are usually done out of lack of budget more than they are so out of like the developer has a passion for turn-based games.
I think that's kind of changed today. I think that people choose.
33 is absolutely out of passion, not just budget.
Exactly. Or like Baldur's Gate, they spent a lot of money on that. They wanted that to be turn-based.
Yeah.
Metaphor, they wanted that to be turn-based. Or Shin Megami Tensei 5, they wanted that to be turn-based. Or Sea of Stars, they wanted that to be turn-based.
Sea of Stars was more double-A-ish though, so.
But they didn't. They could have made that action. We've seen action at that level, like Star Ocean 2, and Sea of Stars look identical. They could be anything, but they wanted it to be like a Legend of Dragoon kind of, obviously not Legend of Dragoon exactly, but kind of, block and do skills together, pressing buttons.
I think also a part of that is that our community has shown that they have a preference for turn-based, and they're like, why are we going away from turn-based? We grew up on turn-based. I don't have a problem with turn-based or action-based, but I do think action-based games give you a little bit more immersion than a turn-based game does, because like, I'm not gonna say every turn-based game, but a lot of turn-based games, like you can be in the middle of a fight, and if something pops off, you don't even have to pause it. You can walk away and then execute.
But what about the pressure of dying and losing your progress?
I mean, that pressure exists on both ends with action or turn-based.
Right. So weren't you saying there is a difference, but there really isn't?
I said action-based gives you a little bit more immersion, because on a turn-based, when your turn hits, not every turn-based game. Some turn-based games you can still get attacked if you long enough. I mean, but it's not a lot like that. But like I can literally put the game down when my turn hits, and I can go do something else. Then I can come back. Like, I don't even have to pause the game. The music will still be going. Characters will all be standing there.
I guess
it just doesn't have the same level.
See, to me, I disagree. Like, for example, if I'm playing Shin Megami Tensei 3 and I'm in Kalpa 4, where every step I take poisons my character, then I get into another random battle with enemies that just do death, and I have to do the entire Kalpa again, it doesn't matter how long it takes. My next turn, I could die.
I do think Pharaoh is reaching with this one.
No, I don't think it's a reach at all. I think there's.
Like, dude, I have never heard of any person ever say what you're saying right now. Like,
you don't think different combat styles allow for a more immersive experience?
No.
But your definition, I don't agree.
Not only that, the fact that you can literally pause the game in both in both games. Like, and I play Soul game, and you can't even pause in Soul game. Like, no, it doesn't
Yeah,
matter
because
what you
when
play.
you can't pause, you're more immersed in the combat in the scenario.
No,
You
you,
have to
no, no,
lock
no,
in.
no, no,
I
no.
mean, no, well,
When
you
I
can
can't
pause an Elden Ring. It's just not
when I
Riddler's
can't
parry.
pause,
You just can't.
do you know what? Do you know what I do? I prevent people from hitting me. I go to an area that either doesn't have a lot of enemies, or I kill close to every enemy that's there in that area, or I simply use magic to protect, to what you call it, to camouflage myself. At the end of the day, you choose where you're standing. And if I need to, take a break from the game, I'm just gonna, very quickly save, or go to an area where I can save. Or the best one, I just put my PlayStation on standby mode.
So are we literally making the argument that different gameplay styles don't create more immersive experience? Is that like the
But
argument?
it's not all action over
It's
turn.
I'm not
never
saying all, but
differently,
I'm
but hey,
I wouldn't
I'm
even
about
say
to say,
most.
I would definitely say like maybe we look at it as like one is more like a physics based, while the other one's more tactile based. The way how I see it, at least. Like you can still be immersed as a tactician's like doing a lot of prepping and stuff, and make sure all the stats of your characters are on point. That way, the characters are most likely to dodge and coordinate and stuff. I mean, it's like a different type of immersion.
yeah.
Yeah.
I wouldn't, but I wouldn't say it's deeper. I think they both. I think it really depends on mostly. It depends on really the story and everything else more than anything else. Because
I
some
feel
people
it's
like
like
to be
chess, right?
tacticians. Yeah,
Chess
some
is
people.
turns.
Some people like chess. Some people like checkers. Some
And
people
like
like
in
to.
chess, it's turn based, but like it doesn't necessarily like you're thinking about like what is your opponent about to do? How can I outsmart my opponent with my next decision? What can I show? What can I feint? Things like this. But just because I can walk away and come back, it still makes me think I could lose if I don't remember all the things that I was doing right before I walked away. It's like I just got finished playing Dragon Quest 3. Dragon Quest 3, I get kicked in the teeth when I was like, oh, I didn't even think about casting Barrier at one time because he put poison on this character. He keeps distracting me by putting poison over there, but I forgot he's got a skill over there that can resist poison, so I shouldn't even worry about that. But it's like things like that that at least keep me immersed. I would say that it looks like 33. I haven't played it yet, but it looks like 33 would keep me more immersed than 16, where I'm like, just hit him with
absolutely,
fire. Just hit him with fire.
absolutely.
Yeah, I don't think 16's battle system is very much immersive, and I feel like with 16 there's also not a lot of enemy variety. It's just reskinned enemies that do the exact same attack. So I think that's also part of the issue with 16
Yeah.
in particular. Like 16's combat was just like passable. Like let's just be decent enough to get me through the story. It was
Her,
it felt like more of an
Yeah.
afterthought than an actual core element of the game.
I heard it was
Yeah.
a watered down version of Devil May Cry's combat
It,
system.
it
I
is
keep hearing that too.
absolutely watered down. I literally said it multiple times. This is literally worse than Devil May Cry 1 when it comes to combos.
One,
It's not.
damn.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Two?
Devil
Man,
May
I thought two was awful.
Well, two was the worst. Well, two was the worst one out of all of them,
Yeah,
but still,
I'm
one's
not
in like
gonna go.
second
I'm not gonna
worst.
go that far. I have respect even for Final Fantasy. We're not gonna put two. Yeah, no, one. I'm talking strictly about the combos, cause
Okay.
that's what it
That's
is. That's the issue.
I think
They,
also what hurt 16 was that you could only play with Clyde. You weren't able
yeah,
to.
Oh, yeah,
yeah,
that's also something I don't really like.
Yeah.
not
yeah.
not switching between the characters, which should have provided different gameplay mechanics, is another issue, sadly.
Yeah.
So, at the end of the day, when it comes to 16, it's all these little issues that pile up and become a big issue at, at some point. And that's what boils down to, the reality.
Yeah. But see. Omar, your thoughts while you're talking on Expedition 33. I know you had some time with the game.
Yeah, so as I said, I'm enjoying it. Like, it's a breath of fresh air to play a JRPG turn-based that doesn't strictly give you attacking and defending. There is nuance to it. Outside the issues that I mentioned between the parry not working on all of the time, and the lack of world minimap, um, it actually bring up a good interesting conversation to talk about should DRPG, uh, and I'm not talking turn-based, I'm just talking DRPG as a whole. Should these games cut to the chase when it comes to the story and start bombastic, or should they start on the slower side?
Mm-hmm.
Because 33 start off, you think slow, and then all of a sudden it explodes.
Oh,
And I think that's what drew most people to it. For me, I'm not gonna lie, I take it either way because when you're so used to slow paced JRPG like that, that you don't have any issue with it. But on the other side, it is refreshing to start a game where shit hits the fan real quick.
yeah.
And I'm curious if other developers should take note on that and let but on the other side, I do understand why they do it. Because I don't know how many gameplay mechanic 33 have, but most of the time, other JRPG, turn-based or not, have significant amount of mechanic and storytelling and stuff like that. So I understand the slow build up. It does bring up a good conversation. And then the whole combat system, it's just most of most of us, all of us here are Square Enix fans, and we grew up with Final Fantasy. And there is, and at least for me, the last Final Fantasy I truly enjoyed was 12. Afterwards, 13 was trash.
She agree
15
with you,
was
Omar.
sorry.
I agree with you. 12 is like the last like absolute epic.
15 was trash.
15 was
16
not trash. Stop calling it trash.
Damn.
What was trash?
One of the best selling Final
He
Fantasy
said
is
trash.
he
trash.
said
Boy
15 was
band,
trash.
we're not
15
doing
was not
that.
trash. It was not
15
trash.
It's worse than
is
trash.
it
Not
released
trash.
incomplete, and it kind
It
of
I
was
hurt.
say
not
it made it.
finished,
It
but it's
definitely
not
made a
trash.
comeback on
Well,
PC when the PC version came out.
it
It
was never
was
finished.
people loved it.
The game Final Fantasy 15 was never
Dude,
finished. You gotta get the book.
they gave you a movie. They gave you an anime show and still couldn't finish the story. Like what the fuck, dude?
Well,
I do
I
find
mean
it interesting though.
the anime and the movie were prequels though, but
Yeah, but still. But even then they still couldn't finish the story. But yeah, going back to it, as I said, and I'm standing on it. 15 was trash. 16 was passable. Um, I say passable because the story in 16 is actually very good. It's the fucking combat that sucks. It's the combat and lack of what you call it?
loaded side quest.
Well, yeah, but also how you can literally kill a babam with fire.
Yeah.
Like to me, still today, I can't wrap my head around that. Um, and so when you start playing 33, and you feel how the combat is so good. And it's not like Square Enix haven't done great turn-based combat. They did it. Octopath Traveler 2. Another combat I never played one, so I can't comment about that. Another great combat that I truly enjoyed. I haven't played Romancing Tangza or Bravely Default, so I can't talk about either of them as well. It's just as as I forgot. I think Zero said it. We want yet Tembase is thriving, but it's mostly in the double A digit. But why can't we have it in a triple A digit? Why must a single developer, not single developer, single studio, not studio, mind you, nonetheless, and that literally no more than 50 people be able to pull it off, while a behemoth like Square Enix that have a significant IP such as Final Fantasy, watching it go down the drain like that.
Well,
Like,
they keep it alive with Dragon Quest. I would say Metaphor
no,
is
I'm talking about
AAA.
Final Fantasy.
Yeah. What were you talking about? You said Square Enix, but I said they're keeping it.
Yeah, but I got you. I was strictly focusing on Final Fantasy as an IP. Why shouldn't we accept better from? Why shouldn't we demand better from Square? Why must we bow our head down and just accept what they're giving us and be okay with mediocrity?
Well, the last 3 Final Fantasies were pretty good. Rebirth, Remake, and 16. It's just 16 just didn't land on the combat system. I don't think we've gotten bad Final Fantasies lately. I think we've gotten, 3 games. That's like about 10, 15 years of Final Fantasies.
I
Not
was
bad.
actually a little not confused is the wrong word. I guess impressed with the love of Final Fantasy XII's battle system. Like when we talk about so much of sort of the strategy put into it, like a big portion of Final Fantasy's entire XII's battle system is like if then statements. So like I could literally just sit the controller down and they do everything for me.
Oh, you're talking about the what do you call it? The
Gambit. He's talking about
It's,
Gambit.
yeah,
the
the
gambit
system.
system.
like you literally could just set your gambits and be done. Like sit the controller down, the game will play itself.
Not
Yep.
all of the time. Edition. That shit is on a whole different ball game.
Yeah, but I don't want to like include different editions, right? Like we're talking Final Fantasy 12.
I got
We're
you.
not
I
talking,
got you on that
yeah.
end.
And especially coming off of 10's battle system, which was fantastic.
10 was
Yeah, I mean, I see
amazing.
your point, Zero, about 12. I think the reason, like, for example, I don't like 13 because I thought it was too simplistic. But to your argument that 12 was also simplistic because you could just set the controller down, is I guess I felt like the level of control I could get out of 12 kept me really engaged. But 13, it was just too much like auto options that I have to scroll past. And it took me out of the experience. But for 12, the micromanaging was just like perfect for me because I was all through choosing, what Balthier should be doing or Fran. But
And that might be what it is, Kofi. Like, because I don't disagree with you on 13. I think the issue with just hit X all day and like break that gauge, and then like you'll be fine. And then switch over to somebody else and continue repeat.
Like,
when I can understand, at least on I'm not a huge fan of 12 in general. But I can understand on concept the idea of like set Balthazar to do this, but then immediately change it. It's if you don't sit the controller down, it is constant micromanaging of if something, then do this. And in that sense, I can understand.
Yeah.
I like 13 just because I felt that there was actual stakes in the story. Like that.
I
That
like
was
13
like
story.
the redeeming. Yeah, that was the redeeming for 13 because like it felt like there was like stakes again in a Final Fantasy. Like
major stakes.
Yeah, when you
got such limited time.
The issue with Final Fantasy is that literally is that they keep changing the battle system. People just get like you either love it or hate it. There's no in between when it comes to the battle system they had to come up with. But let's focus on these 2 great games. Fuck Final Fantasy right now. They're not
Also,
releasing
one
a new
other
one
thing.
for a while.
if there is one thing that also breath of fresh air when it comes to 33, it's the setting. We are not playing in the past. You actually feel like you're playing in the future. You got steampunk aesthetic, and it's not like a medieval setting. And I love that about Expedition 33.
Yeah, I can't wait to dive in on that. See that for myself. Let's see. Jubei, you've been playing Oblivion. So what are your thoughts on, these two titles, having the success they have and your impressions on Oblivion so far?
Um, Oblivion, like I said earlier, it's the quality of life is enough for me to recommend it, especially to people that have never played Oblivion. Um, a lot of people were turned off by the leveling, when that first dropped, just because it was kind of not really explained well, and it also didn't really work very well. Like, you had to be a fucking nerd to really level up in that game, for real, for real. Having it be more like Skyrim, where you doing things contributes to your overall level on top of XP. Like, it's just better than it was before. Graphically, of course, it looks better. It's still Oblivion, so it's like I don't have a whole bunch to say, because I mean, it's a 360 game that got remastered at the end of the day. So the story, all that shit is all unchanged. It just looks better and plays better than it did in the past. Yeah, but I'm really enjoying it. There's things Avowed could have taken from Oblivion that would have made Avowed better, and I kind of wish that they did. Um, Not necessarily from a leveling standpoint, but just like they up their animation game. Like you actually have a sprint animation now and stuff. It's just little things like that that shouldn't really matter in the grand scheme of things, but kind of do when you're like a fan of that kind of game. Yeah, if you haven't played Oblivion, go play it. If you played Oblivion, go play it. Just because it's still. I like Oblivion more than Skyrim, so that's just me. But I might be in the minority on that. So
No, it's 50-50. You got the Oblivion, you got the Morrons, and you got the Skyrim.
anybody in the year of our Lord saying that Morrowind is still good in 2025
There
should be
is a
flogged.
cult.
Should
There
be
is a
flogged.
cult. I met them.
When it
You
takes
can't tell
20
them
minutes
nothing.
of real time to go somewhere on foot, please stop. Like, no.
No, that's immersion. Immersion to the finest.
You call it immersion. I call it literally why have I been running for 15 minutes and I've felt like I've gone nowhere. No, thank you.
Yeah.
And since you're talking, Abby, what are your thoughts? I know you haven't had a chance to dive into either of these two games. What are your thoughts on the success of Oblivion and Exorcist 33? Some people thought that Oblivion might, steal Exorcist 33 shine. That hasn't been the case. Both of these games have shined very brightly over the course of this week. So, what are your impressions from afar as someone who's, looking forward to enjoying both of
For Oblivion, I just created my character and that's about it. Seeing the gameplay of it, honestly, I looked at Oblivion as more so of a tech demo because at first I thought that they were going to finally get away from the creation engine. I thought they were going to do a new engine for once, and I was excited. But then I realized it's still the creation engine, just the assets are controlled by Unreal, which still improvement. It's not bad. I mean, I'm still thinking about Starfield's animations and stuff, and there are necessary graphical requirements for really mushy looking graphics. I'm just happy to see happy both of them succeeding. Happy to see another turn-based game that's out there that's doing very successful, showing people you don't have to do a live action-based game. And Oblivion, I am really curious to see what Bethesda's going to do because I really thought this was like a tech demo or like a play test for them coming out with Elder Scrolls 6, whatever that's going to come out. And so far, it's doing very good. Plus, everyone loves. There's like a cult classic for Oblivion. I mean, Jubei is one of the Oblivion people. I mean, I like Skyrim. I have like 3 friends that like Morrowind, and I have it's just they're just classic games and they were done right. That was like the most important part to me, is that they took these old games, remastered them just right for modern audiences.
Like, I mean, like Oblivion really convinced me to get a 360. That was the game that put me over the edge. That's what it took.
I like Fallout 3. Fallout 3 was like, when I saw my friend playing Fallout 3, I was like, yeah, it's time for me to get a 360. I was happy with my SOCOM Assault on PlayStation 2 until I saw what I was missing out on.
Right,
Like, oh yeah, we can't do that over here.
Last but not least, I know you're playing some different RPGs right now, but I know you plan on at least playing Expedition 33. What are your thoughts on, the launch week of these titles, and kind of, well, you had a launch week of a title that you're fond of, 100 Heroes. They're part of it. But in regards to Expedition Oblivion, yeah, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, thinking about sorry, 1 second. It's like something loud playing in my ear. In terms of Expedition 33, I'm really happy that what seems like a somewhat dark themed turn-based RPG with some action mechanics is being celebrated. That's really something special. Brand new French team. Obviously, we get to hear Ben Starr again, who's been all over, like in Kazan and Final Fantasy 16. Um, I love all those things very specifically. For Oblivion, I'll be dead honest, I've just never really been a fan. If there was any game I'd play, I'd probably try Oblivion. It's so funny because the last one I did really like was Morrowind. I wouldn't say it's like the most amazing thing, but on the first Xbox, I did, appreciate Morrowind. I didn't like play it for very long or anything, but I thought like this is like really the only one that kept me around, and I would have played more if it wasn't for me being into JRPGs so much at the time. Um, Something that I wanted to react to in general is a lot of the backlash against Final Fantasy 16, and the hype for Expedition 33 has brought out some people who have been writing articles that very much remind me of when Persona 5 became very popular. Basically, using something like Expedition 33 as like a tent pole that can represent the turn-based RPG fan base for a decade, defining moment. I don't know if um, Expedition 33 deserves that title just yet. There have been many, as we've already discussed, many other turn-based RPGs that I think are just as worth celebrating. But it doesn't mean I want to diminish anything that Expedition has gone through. Obviously, this is their very first IP. That's not like the Baldur's Gate team; they've been around, or it's not like the Metaphor developers. Obviously that's a brand new series, but it's by a tried and true development team. So, um, and some of these games don't have the dark overtures, something like a Shadow Hearts had, or something like oh, what was that PS1 game? Shoot, I'm forgetting the name. But yeah, there's a lot more darker overtones that I'm seeing out of Expedition, and that does not go unnoticed by me. Yeah, of course, I do own the game. I have not played it 1 second, but hopefully I do at some point. Um, but yeah, I think that's most of my thoughts. Looking forward to enjoying that. And yes, I am playing 100 line, which obviously it's good in its own right. So there's just a lot of great games out right now, and
Oh yeah,
there's no
it's
reason to hate.
been an amazing year for games. I think we thought, what was it, 2 years ago, the year that Hogwarts Legacy dropped and all the fighters dropped, we didn't think that we could see another year like that. Like, this year is kind of.
Oh, we still have God of Yotei and what you call it, Death Training too. So it's crazy year for this year alone.
Yeah.
And GTA 6 too, which everyone's scared trying to avoid. releasing their games near that game. So
I get a
And,
feeling that
we
that
know it ain't
game is
happening in
just.
October.
I'm not.
yeah,
I feel like that game is going to get a lot of scrutiny because I think there's such a
overhype.
such an overhype that it almost impossible for it to meet the expectations, and then the online element, whatever changes they make to GTA Online that corresponds with the release of this game, I just see a lot of criticism coming this title's way. Not
Yep.
I'm sure a lot of it will be undeserved.
I will definitely say updating GTA Online's minimum requirements on PC, knowing that the mod community is what keeps GTA Online alive, that's not a good look.
Yeah, I will say that I think the hate that is coming for GTA 6 that I think it's gonna get, or the scrutiny I should say, not necessarily hate. I don't think it's gonna be deserved, but at the same time it's gonna be deserved because Rockstar made you wait like basically 3 generations to get a new Grand Theft Auto. Like Grand Theft Auto was out on the 360. So, you know,
We had 2 Grand Theft Autos on the 360.
yeah. So to go the whole PS4 generation and to launch Grand Theft Auto 6 at the end of the Xbox and PlayStation 5's life cycle, it seems, um, just seems like in poor taste overall. Where people have bought multiple versions of GTA 5, like GTA 6 better rock my world, and I had to wait this long for it, and it's just destined to fall short of most people's expectations. I think that's gonna kind of hurt the title a little bit when it does launch. But I still think it's gonna be a great game. I just think people are just gonna be all over the place on it. Like, but
Mhm.
that said, we can jump into our next topic. Um, let me get a timestamp for that. I missed my timestamp earlier, so maybe I'll go back and fix it. Um, Ghost of Yotei gets a release date. Don't have the
Yeah,
release date right in front of me, but I believe it was October 2nd.
yeah.
I mean,
Yeah, I'm
Yeah,
pretty
it's
sure it
that's
was.
October
pretty good.
2nd.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was October
Yep,
2nd.
October 2nd. October
So
2nd,
Whatever day
2025.
Grand Theft Auto is not happening on. So
so what
Uh,
I will say is that they gave us a release date along with a trailer. This trailer felt more like a proper trailer than a little like sizzle teaser they gave us a couple months prior. Um, it looks like it looks like a Ghost game. It looks great. And I feel a little bit more vested in this new character than I felt previously, and I felt the community was just like, why isn't Jin in the game at first? But now that they gave this character a little bit more context, I feel like people have kind of laid off the fact that Jin's not the main character in the sequel. Um, and I think more people are ready to really rock out with this game when it comes out. So um, I'm happy to see that because uh, the first Ghost of Tsushima was something that the gaming community knew that they wanted something like it, but it was like kind of the game that we didn't know that we needed at the time because we haven't really had like that type of game. And then when they released multiplayer, that I think that had some lasting legs if they decided to improve on it. But it's like everything they did with Ghost of Tsushima was right, and so it's good to see like Ghost of Yotei like really good. Their last little 2 minute showing of it. Um, see, I am going to go to let's see. Let's kick this off with Kofi, man. Big PlayStation guy, and I know he loved Ghost. What were your thoughts seeing that Ghost of Yotei updated trailer with the release date?
Yeah, I think I can't really see anything really surprise me so much. I thought maybe we'd get a release date that's a little bit closer to early fall, but October 2nd doesn't really bother me at all, to be honest. I've just got so much to play.
Yeah.
Love the acting in the trailer. The first version of the trailer I heard was in Japanese. I liked seeing an era where a different culture among the Japanese is more prominent, as opposed to the Mongol invasion,
Mhm.
of, Jin Sakai's time. Um, I'm a yeah, I loved Tsushima. Got the platinum. I never played the DLC though, Iki Island. I need to eventually go back and play that. But yeah, I did everything in the main game, and to see a change of scenery, just like in general with a different character, I think um is very wise, because if this game is also successful, I think the trend would be to continue to migrate to different periods. I could just imagine. I mean, let's be honest. If the next game, I'm just throwing this out there, the next game is in the Sengoku period, where all the craziness is going down with Nobunaga, that could be very, very interesting. We could see some over the top stuff, actual unification of all the different prefectures that existed at that time during the Sengoku period. Wow. So the consistency in telling the narrative from a new perspective, I think, is really healthy for the franchise. This particular, Ghost has it looks like much more of a revenge narrative, and you don't have to honor anything that Jin was about. You get that kind of clean slate. So I hope they just tighten up the controls maybe a little bit more. I liked that Tsushima did not have a lock on. It just felt different. So many of these games that I truly love have lock on systems. I mean, shoot, Pharaoh, you and I hopefully we're playing Lords of the Fallen very soon, and then Kazan has a lock on. And sometimes when you mix it up a little bit, how the mechanics for fighting works, it's very refreshing. So I hope they stick with that, and I hope the multiplayer is even better. Tsushima Legends, I played quite a bit of that. Um, I hope that there's some sort of like Uncharted 2 inspired like series of scenarios that you can play co-op with fellow samurais. I thought that was on Uncharted 2 and Uncharted 3 and 4. Actually, I think only Uncharted 2 and 3 did that. No, 3 was really good, where you could like bring Charlie or Chloe, and you can go through like certain moments, or Sully, of course. I would love if Tsushima did something like that, just to keep the co-op um, you know really fun. That would be my only request, and yeah, I'll be making some space for Ghost of Yotei.
Omar, seeing Ghost of Yotei, I know it's a game that you loved as well. What were your thoughts seeing the trailer reveal and getting that release date for this year?
So yeah, I played Tech Enterprise and stuff like that with God of Yotei not only trailer but release date. And yeah, Coffee said it. We have too many games to play, so the game being in October no issue. What I love is the variety of weapons they're coming with. Apparently, they're coming with a significant amount of new weapons, and I am all happy for that. Other than that, it's a buzzword, but given how I love Ghost of Tsushima, apparently Yotei is gonna be their biggest open world, but also most fun to interact with. So I can't wait for that. And another thing, the voice actress for what you call it, uh, the main character is none other than Jolene from JoJo Bizarre Adventure, Star Ocean. So shout out to them for that. They clearly are keeping nailing it. First it was Jin Sakai with Zoro from One Piece, and now this. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, like it does hit different when you have an amazing voice actress.
agreed.
That
Zoro from One Piece as Jin Sakai was such a dream, man. I was so
yeah,
happy. I was like, "What? We get freaking
like
Zoro? It's so good."
all we needed is a three was three sword style and a skin.
Zantoryu.
Like
Yeah, man.
it's such a miss out, but I understand licensing and stuff like that. But yeah, um, welcome to Go to Jete. I can't wait. Like, I genuinely can't wait. But Kofi mentioned something that I want to touch upon. Legend, which is the online version of Ghost of Tsushima, I played it significantly. Like, I put more than 300 hours in it.
Wow.
I did, yeah, I did. I did the hard mission. I don't know, I forgot what's called. Nightfall was Destiny, but like Nightfall, where you had to play only with, you could only win with your friends because the missions are significantly harder, and also there is restriction to what you call it, to
Oh, stay close
revival.
to your friend, right? Like they have to be really close to them.
I did the mission solo. I'm not talking about
Oh,
the raid. I'm not talking about the raid. I'm talking significant about where you needed to clear a mission and you only had a, a certain amount of
Yeah, you have limited for
revival.
Nightfall. You have limited deaths, and
Yeah,
yeah, like it's
precisely.
oh
difficult.
yeah.
Like, and I did them no death on my with all my characters. I did them with assassin, with like with sword, with I did them like I love this because I created my own play style with every single character, and I need to look up if I have it on YouTube because I had to delete all the videos because of face and stuff like that. But now talking about it already, it's like it's exciting me to go through it all over again. The only thing I wish, and I truly wish, truly, I can't stress it enough, truly wish that they go through with it is support your fucking online if you're gonna create online. Don't create online and then forget that exists. And only
Mm.
give us what you call it uh, c- um, equipment. No, because they supported it when it comes to equipment. They gave free equipment, and I love that. Um, but and they were all unique. Like you had God of War one, and God of Spider-Man one. I forgot inspired one. But my issue is they had one raid and that's it. And not only that, when you they gave you a new mode that nobody asked for it, and the actual mode that people asked for to do something about it, they didn't do, which is the fucking online mode. Online mode, like give us fucking multiple raid bosses to beat. Like raid was fun, but sadly they didn't invest in it, and we got fucked over when it comes to that. Cause I put a lot of hours, and I want to put more hours in it, but I want my hours to make to be important. I don't want to just do it and be done with it. I want some passion. And especially if they're gonna do online, which I hope if they're gonna do, they're gonna, do it with care now. Cause I wanna be invested in their online. It's just, I don't know. It
Yeah,
feels
man.
like they don't, they can't be, um, focusing on online and also offline at the same time. That's how it feels. But we will see what they're gonna do. But besides that, I'm curious how quick they're gonna load the new map. Because I remember with the old map on the PS4 alone, they literally had to slow down their map loading. So we get a little bit of time to be able to read the tips. So I'm curious how they're gonna do that one. That's gonna be interesting. But besides that, I'm super excited about God of Yotei. Can't wait for it.
All right. Joe, did you have any thoughts on the Ghost Yotei trailer and?
Uh, I thought it looked cool. I really like the idea of the what is it the seven or five, just sort of the
6.
group of people, six that we have to hunt down. Like I'm always a big fan of that. I won't say much that I don't think Kofi or Omar haven't covered. But I do agree, particularly with Kofi. Like I love the idea that this is not a sequel to Jin's story. I'm a real big proponent of I think it's okay to let a story end and move on from there. And in a world like Ghost, you can just slot somebody else in to make it sort of an anthology series where we're jumping around the history of Japan, um, utilizing sort of the same mechanics and skill sets while adding to it without sort of running things into the ground. Like Jin's story is complete for the most part. Like we've said all we needed to say with him. Let's move on to somebody else. So I'm happy to see that they really did do that. Um, and we'll get another story. And I think, like, if this is a success, like the Ghost series could be sort of like this very cool anthology series.
Yeah, it could be like their
That I
Assassin's
don't think,
Creed.
where I don't know if we get a lot of that in video gaming, period, as is. Um, Even though, like, I think they can be really successful.
Yeah, what's up, 108? Thanks for coming through. I definitely agree with you there. Yeah, if Ghost of Yotei really lands and they expand on, the main game and they really commit back to the multiplayer to kind of give the game a little bit longer life period than just the main story until they release new DLC. Um, yeah, they definitely might have something to where they can have like a series, maybe I don't know. I don't want it to be like Assassin's Creed to where it goes on forever, but maybe they get to squeeze out, another 2, 3 titles out of it. That'd be kind
Yeah,
of cool.
like hit all the significant story periods.
Yeah, like
So
it
I think
doesn't.
Zen Goku is so much different than the Mongol and what they're doing now.
Yeah, so I would say if they could get another 2 or 3 games out, um, that don't feel like it's like it ends up like it turns into a money grab to where you really don't have any more content. You're just throwing slapping Ghost on something. I would like that, because there's a lot of feudal Japan stories that you can definitely tell. Um, they
On
can do.
Yasuke.
I don't think they're gonna touch that after the Assassin's Creed does. I just don't think anyone's gonna touch that for a while. It's just way too much backlash. Um, yeah, I think people stay away from that one. Jubei, I think you played some
Yeah,
Ghost. So, what are your thoughts on seeing
I
this?
did.
You know, this trailer drop and the release date of Ghost of Yotei. I know to me it looked really good. For you, I'm not sure because they didn't show a PS5 Pro and version of the trailer.
They did not.
So,
They did
Hmm.
not.
how you feeling over there, Mister?
I mean, I'm
Right.
all right, I guess. Um, if it's more of that place of like that style of game, sure, I'm down for it. I just hope that it kind of carves out its own thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That'd be ideal.
Oh my god.
Short and sweet. Short and
Um,
sweet.
yeah, just yeah, short and sweet. But I don't know. They're gonna have to show me. Like you're right, I didn't see no pro enhance, nothing. Like I'm hoping that they do this for their console, and I'm curious what the differences are gonna be between the two versions. But um, yeah, I'm I'll play it when it comes out. I beat the first Ghost. I didn't finish the DLC, and I didn't go back in on super ultra hard mode or whatever the fuck. I also didn't play a lot of the multiplayer. So
Okay. They got about 5 more months to polish it. I'm sure they will release the Pro Enhanced version. Uh, what will be enhanced. We'll have to wait and see, but I'm sure they definitely will. And
Yeah.
last but not
Just
least, oh, go ahead.
no, just to tie into what Kofi was saying. Like I too would like to see like that Nobunaga period of time. I think that'd be neat.
I think that
Maybe
would
it could
be
even like
extra hype after, like, if this one's nailed out the park, they're like, yo, we're gonna go see Nobunaga. People would be like, yo, this kind of hype. It would be a lot of excitement.
because there's so much lore there. There's so many players involved in that whole era. Like
Yeah.
even Nobunaga aside, there was still a crap ton of just stuff going on. You know what I mean?
Yep.
A bunch of assassinations, wars. The whole nine. It was a bunch going on.
Uh, as far as the outrage lemon, that only applies when certain color enters the picture. Uh,
Of course.
on a game. That's when
Oh,
historical accuracy is of the utmost importance. But
oh,
you know,
okay.
a great game and a great game and a great story. If it involves anyone else, they overlook anything that's
Don't
not necessarily the most accurate.
don't get it twisted. People calling her out for being a woman, not realizing that apparently there are Ronin. Nah,
I'm about to say,
people,
go to Yotei.
yeah. At first, the backlash of it being a female character was just the initial shock of it not being Jin and them placing a woman there. But once this new trailer came out, a lot of that conversation has kind of been quiet.
Yeah.
besides,
So
back in the day, women were like the best assassins.
yeah, they were
I'm
ninjas.
about to say,
They weren't samurai. They were ninjas.
they weren't samurais,
Yeah,
but they were
they could get
ninjas.
in
But
close because they
Yeah.
could get in close to you.
You
I
know?
say, man, you know the best way to get information? Pillow talk. Ooh,
Yep.
just saying.
The best time to kill a highly important man. Pillow talk. So
Women were best at one pillow. Man, once they get you in pillow talk, they just be spilling everything, feeding you all the drugs, and then all of a sudden you get stabbed in the neck.
yeah, they did it back
Just
then.
saying.
How they do it today too. Um,
Oh god.
but last but not least, the PC Master Race. We don't know if this game's gonna launch day and date yet. I mean, it's possible, but I don't think so. I think they're gonna stick to like the 6 month
6 months.
thing
It's gonna be
they've been
like
doing.
I've noticed that Sony has been more lenient on the exclusivity over PC. So usually, like at first, we had to wait like a year.
Yeah, the
Now it's down to
window's
6 months.
closing. Yeah, the window's been closing.
Yeah, yeah. It seems like Sony like needs their games to sell. So and also, I know that Square Enix said that exclusivity deal was probably the worst thing for them because they said Final Fantasy VII could have easily sold more if it just went to Xbox.
It would have sold a lot more if it was available everywhere day one.
Day one.
That it was capable of running on. Any piece of hardware is capable of running on if it was there. Definitely.
Yeah, because honestly, what I did was I didn't actually surprisingly, I have not watched Ghost of Tsushima or Ghost of Yotei's gameplay or story. So I know the first Ghost of Tsushima is on PC. I was not getting it because of the PlayStation account, but they got rid of it, so I probably can get the first one and dive into that to see what the big hype is about. But overall the game looks good. I'm glad they didn't really up the graphics too much because now they left room for performance. Like same thing with Spider-Man 2. Like everybody's like, oh, the graphics look the same, but then again, you have like an actual New York City. Hopefully, now that they got all this processing power with the PlayStation 5 compared to the 4, they can make more live, like lush worlds, see more animals walking around, more people walking around. Like take advantage as long as they take advantage of that PlayStation 5 hardware.
Yeah, I think gamers aren't asking for better graphics anymore. I think people are satisfied with the graphical fidelity that we currently get in games. They're more worried about performance than else. So I think performance is kind of becoming the more important thing at this point because graphics have gotten like a standard to where they're acceptable for most titles.
Yeah, well, like I said, I just want to see if they take advantage of the PlayStation 5 hardware. That's probably the only thing I'm curious about. But as far as the story, one day I'll buy it on PC. There is way too many games. I haven't even finished Rebirth yet. I've been dragging on that game. I've been hopping from PC to mobile, PC to
Oh,
mobile.
dang.
It's summertime. I'm
True.
outside. I gotta
True.
go. I gotta take like it's. So yeah, I'm eating. I got a lot of games to play.
Yeah, Rebirth is definitely a winter game. 'Cause
That one took me a while too. It took me
Yeah.
like 3 months, I think,
yeah,
to finish
clearing
it.
out those. It's really clearing out the biome. If you didn't have to clear out all the
Yeah.
biome, you could probably beat the game in a decent amount of time. But having to clear out all the biome really adds so
Yeah.
much time.
There's a mod to get to expedite that process, but I didn't want to install it. I was like, let me stop because I already.
That's literally the longest part of the game is having to get to all those towers. It's like the longest.
Let me
part.
know if you can beat the summon at the end of the game.
I will let you know, and I will make sure to take Sephiroth out of my party because I ain't gonna lie. The first 5 hours when I was playing the game, I installed the mod to keep Sephiroth just for shits and giggles.
Oh wow.
And but that's okay. I installed. I was like, yeah, let me get rid of him because he had the same move set. He wasn't learning any new moves. He was just there.
Was he strong though?
He was decent. Surprisingly, he was still leveling up, which I was shocked about. I thought that he would be like level capped at where he's at, but he was decent. But then again, like the synergy and stuff, eventually the other characters started becoming more valuable partners compared to Sephiroth. So I was like, you know what, time to install the mod. It was a fun mod when it last.
Sorry,
Oh yeah,
about
back
other
to
games?
Ghost.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, besides Ghost of Yotei, yeah, I'm just PlayStation people. I'm glad. I hope you guys get a dub for this one because Sony's been hurting, and I know PlayStation people haven't had a good game, and I can't remember.
First party has been a little light, but they do have Lost Soul Aside coming out next month. That is the Sony published title. I think Final Hero Project.
Mm-hmm.
Ah.
Yeah.
Correct.
So.
Oh, I forgot. I'm sorry. The last good game you guys had was Astrobot.
Yeah, Astrobot just came out, and you got Death Stranding 2 in June.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's coming out. So yeah, I'm just hoping you guys get some good games. That's all.
It seems like Death Stranding is more of a limited publishing deal now after it made it to other platforms.
Yeah, I agree with that.
So it seems like like Sony gets the first publishing,
exclusivity.
and then like, well, there's definitely an exclusivity period, but then after that period passes, it seems like someone else publishes it to other platforms.
Yeah, they want Hideo to definitely thrive, which I 100% agree with. I want him to do whatever he wants.
Okay. So, we can move on to our final topic. Kind of like, we only had these two topics that really came up in the show, but this was kind of unavoidable. Marathon, the alpha apparently is not doing very well at the moment as far as like player retention and people spending a lot of time in the game, and it's gotten quite a bit of criticism. I've even heard some people say that the numbers are lower than Concord. As far as the player numbers for the game. So it's just interesting because Sony put so much effort into this live service push, and Bungie is the one that was supposed to be leading it, and they seem to be having struggles with this particular title. Who am I gonna go to first? I think I'll go to Zero because he's probably has the most love for Bungie out of the entire group.
I certainly feel like I got the most hours put into Bungie games.
Yeah, for sure.
Outside of me, I think outside of me.
I'm
Yeah.
about to say because
Jubei
Jubei's a heavy Bungie
person. So what are your thoughts hearing that the issues with the game, that it didn't necessarily show well, and then the alpha came out and people aren't really feeling the game to this point? I don't even in the Twitterverse, I don't think I've seen much positive said about the game.
I'm not completely surprised. A good friend of mine actually got into the alpha, so I was watching him play, and in fact, I signed up myself. I may or may not be getting a code. Who knows? My challenge with Marathon was first and foremost, like it's sort of not Marathon, like at least not the game like it was at one point. On top of that, like I agree with you, Pharaoh. We were talking about it in chat. Like extraction shooters are kind of a niche genre. And it's seemingly that Tarkov being the king of that particular hill.
Sure, at the moment.
Yeah, so it's like there's this idea, and part of the challenge being when I ask who's this for, it's in the sense of, so are we trying to entice Destiny fans? Because they've never necessarily made it clear that Destiny was going away yet. So it's like, who's gonna be playing this? Who do you want to play this, or is it just brand new people all in of itself, which can be fine. But it's just hard to sort of get a grasp on who exactly is this game for. On top of that, me personally, not a huge fan of the art style. I think it can look a little better. Or I just don't like the particular sort of look that it's got going for it. The sort of kind of pseudo cell shaded, sort of animated type of deal.
I like the
It
color
just
palette,
doesn't.
but yeah, visually the game just doesn't impress. Like as far as like the design choice, but I do like the color.
Yeah. And so watching my friend play and just sort of, streaming it, so he and I are talking about it. And it's like it's fine for what it is. But I think part of the big issue is it didn't really sell itself on what's cool about it. Like it's an extraction shooter. Yes, that's fine. What else do you do? Because we got a bunch of extraction shooters. So how do you set yourself apart in the way that historically Bungie used to? Halo was sort of like the first person shooter on console. Destiny was the first person shooter that's also kind of PvE focused, but it can still affect your PvP play. When I look at Marathon, it just looks like The Division. It just looks like Tarkov. Like there's nothing that to me that stands out in any meaningful way to make me want to stop playing those other extraction shooters outside of it being new. But new doesn't mean good; it just means new. So I don't know yet. I'm not really sold on it. As I said before, like I'll probably wind up playing it because I'm sure that my friend will get it and we game share, so I'll play along with him. But I don't know if this game, just similar to Concord, like I don't know if this game is going to make me put down Marvel Rivals or Apex or Call of Duty. And that's kind of what it should do, even if it's not permanently, just for a little, to just play and see what it is. Like they didn't even really show off any cool weapons, like no exotic weapons or anything like that. So like, what am I playing?
Yeah.
And I've just not been a particular fan of extraction shooters anyway. But so I don't know. I'm not surprised that it didn't show well. It remains to be seen, but it's an alpha, right? So theoretically, we still got some time for it to get itself together.
Yeah.
So perhaps it will look different at a later date.
Well, the game already has a release date. I forgot what that date. I think it's September or August.
Well, I guess it's not gonna look that much different.
It's like a game's coming out in like 4 months. Yeah. Something like that. I'm already like acting like we're in May. April's basically.
And we're basically in May.
Yeah, so it's like 4 months till the game. But I was gonna ask you, do you think that people are hesitant to even jump into the beta or support the game because they're not sure of how willing Sony is to support this title after what happened with Concord?
I can say that's definitely an aspect of it. Why get invested in an environment that or you believe might not even exist anymore?
Yeah, because I mean, I think we can all agree to a degree that even if the game launches to a slow start, that the Bungie that we know is capable of turning it around and into something that is,
decent, doable,
decent,
playable,
yeah,
enjoyable.
Yeah,
and it can find its niche little audience if it wants to and live there comfortably. I can certainly understand after Concord, people being like, "Oh, I don't know if you're going to do that anymore either." So perhaps
well, if they'll get the opportunity to.
Yeah,
Because we know
because
they can. Destiny started out bare bones, and it came what it was.
And little communities build around games that they like, and the wide audience at large would be like, "This game sucks," but that little community would be like, "No, we like this game. We're fine. We're good over here. You guys can go do whatever you want."
And they'll carry it for a decade.
And they'll carry it for a decade. I can understand people being a bit hesitant.
Helldivers is an example of that. It had a little small community, the first one, and the second one came out, and it was rocking and rolling from there.
Yeah. So I don't know. And again, Tarkov seems to be that right now. So again, what's making me leave Tarkov?
Yeah.
I like Tarkov. What's interesting or new about Marathon? So we'll see. I just don't know. And even amongst my like very heavy Sony friends, like I don't see this for Kofi. I don't see this for Omar. I don't really know who this really is going to be. I don't see it for Jubei either from like the Bungie side or the shooter side.
Yeah.
So I don't really know who's like sort of anxious to pick this up.
Yeah.
No, I'm definitely not hyped at all.
I feel like as far as the Sony community goes, I feel like the Sony community feels like very alienated with this type of title because it's the type of game that they necessarily want from their Sony first party. So I do think that kind of hurts it a little bit. That like this isn't the type of game that they want. Didn't really support the last multiplayer. I think it's a couple of factors when it comes to like people that only that have a genuine passion for PlayStation first party titles. I I think they have an idea of certain first party multiplayer games they want to try. Like they wanted Twisted Metal, they wanted Faction, they wanted a Resistance or a Killzone to come back, but they're getting this particular title. They're getting Concord,
they're getting Marathon.
They're getting Marathon and Concord and the games that they asked for, they're not necessarily getting, and there's no real community that is supporting the title that Sony is greenlighting to come out instead of what the community is actually asking. So it's definitely something interesting to keep an eye on. Jubei.
Yeah.
You're the other Bungie veteran. I know you watched the Bungie showcase. I don't know if you applied for the beta or not, but to hear that alpha, that the alpha is not necessarily going very smoothly and people aren't anxious to jump in and play and give a lot of feedback. What are your thoughts so far?
I'm not surprised. Sony can't make shooters anymore, man. If it's not SOCOM, they can fuck off. Doesn't matter.
Damn.
But this is Bungie.
I don't care. Bungie is
they're
a Sony company now.
The
They are a
Sony.
I don't give a fuck. As a company, they're garbage at shooters. Have been since they stopped fucking with SOCOM. It hasn't changed, and it's never going to change. They're trash. PlayStation people do not give a fuck about shooters on that platform to begin with, as it is. Okay. And they stopped caring after SOCOM. If it's not, fucking Destiny or something else, like it's not it.
Okay, so all right. So with that being your perspective, what about Sony's involvement in this title do you feel is holding back from what you've seen to this point?
I haven't seen them curate this like they would curate one of their single player games. When I get it, Bungie's still owned by them or whatever, but they didn't have any part of that show where you're actually like being informative to people, like show us a reason why we should play this. Like they didn't really show us shit. Like they're just like, so this is coming, here's an alpha, okay, thanks, bye. Like you can't fucking do that.
Okay.
I want them to take the same care that they take with The Last of Us or like their other single player franchises, and they're not going to. And I have zero faith.
if I were to say where I think Sony could have hurt Marathon, I'm not sure about how much involvement they had, but I think where they were hurt Marathon is in their lack of involvement and the fact that this game doesn't have any type of campaign
That's
for
what
it.
I'm saying. They're not giving it the care that
So
it needs. It needs.
I don't think Sony necessarily hurt the game by being involved with it. I think a lack of involvement may have actually hurt this particular title from Sony.
Whose choice was it to have a lack of involvement?
Because I think if Marathon had a campaign and characters that you could kind of, Sony does a really good job of developing stories. They really do. And if
They do.
and if they actually did that with Marathon, give us some characters or give us something to care about in the game, I think it could, have a. I think the perception of the little showcase that they showed us would have been a little bit different, and I think when the game came out, a really good campaign would have given the game a higher attachment. I do think that. If I was going to criticize Sony for anything, I would criticize them for a lack of involvement, not necessarily for their involvement.
Okay, sure.
But
Like either way, they're the parent company now. The blame falls on them. Their lack of involvement or too much involvement is all on them.
okay.
They don't care about the shooter genre. They've shown it. They have several shooters that they just do not give a fuck about. Refuse to bring them back. Like I had no hope. I had no hope for any of their live service games either. And it's like I don't know what Bungie's next thing is, but if it's not Destiny, I don't have hope.
Yeah, I was kind of wondering, are they going to do Destiny 3? I think after this, if Sony really wants to recoup their
It's gonna flop, and they're gonna have to do Destiny 3.
that's what I said.
They're gonna have to. They're gonna be forced to.
Yeah, I
Ooh,
can.
They
It's not gonna be a
have the
choice.
new. Yeah, they got the new DLC coming out. So like
Yeah.
Trials of the Nine might be their big. Well, that's not what it's called, but the Nine are back for my Destiny people. So like, if they can nail that, Destiny might be in an okay place. Admittedly, I've been out of the Destiny game since the end of the Final Shape.
Yeah,
So,
but if they do,
I haven't even played the final. I see it's on sale though. I might grab it, but I haven't touched it.
That DLC might actually hurt Marathon. It's kind of.
That's also possible too. Well, at the time, a lot of Destiny people were a little like weird because they didn't know is Marathon going to take the place of Destiny? Like, how can they do both?
Yeah.
Oh, that means all the stuff we've been wanting for these Destiny stuff is just going to go away now. So I don't know.
Yeah.
I
don't think they have a choice but to support Destiny because it still has a healthy player base. It's not like it's.
I have no faith, man. Like they let Concord die on the vine after putting all that money into it.
Yeah,
Like
12
they don't
days
care.
is crazy. 12 days is crazy.
We need to like they're telling us who they are. We need to believe them. You know what I mean? Like they don't care about the shooter genre. It's not their focus. It's not their cup of tea. It's not something that they excel at anymore. They should stop that.
I really want to get Omar's opinion about what's been going on with Marathon, and also he is a true diehard Sony first party. He loves a lot of their first party games, and he has been asking for specific titles from Sony. I think some of them have been multiplayer, but for those titles to be ignored for this one, I kind of want to get your thoughts, Omar. What are you thinking, seeing everything that's going on with Marathon the past couple weeks, and kind of knowing that some of the titles that you kind of had an interest in have been canceled for a game like Marathon?
And choose what they're gonna play. It's that simple. If the game doesn't speak to them, it just doesn't speak to them.
No, I'm talking about speaking to you specifically.
Oh yeah, no, me, I knew. So I knew from the get-go, Marathon is not gonna be a game I'm gonna touch it. I'm gonna touch. The only reason I play Helldivers 2 is because PvE.
Yeah.
Like PvP or not, you're never gonna see me play any shred of PvP. No, not Twisted Metal, no anything.
Yeah, but you wanted Twisted Metal, right? You wanted the Twisted Metal to come out.
I wanted a Twisted Metal, but I wanted it to be PvE.
Okay.
But with this one, The right,
Twist,
we might see the
but
right
Twisted Metal's
above.
been both.
Who knows?
So I don't
Like,
know
yeah,
if
you
he
can
wanted
play with AI
factions,
or
but
whatever.
I'm pretty sure he wanted Twisted Metal.
Yeah, I wanted it with the metal, but PvE. So,
But even the OG Twisted Metal isn't PvP though. That's what I'm trying to say. Like, it's like you could play with your friends. It's not PvE, and it's only PvE because you're facing bots. Like, you can fill
I
those with
played it
players.
mostly. I played it only PvE. That's why. So yeah, but going back to it, to marathon, I watched the reveal. It was boring at best, and it didn't do it justice. It didn't sell me on the game. So I have no idea how it did for the actual crowd that they're targeting, but to me it feels like this one is not it.
Okay.
At least for me. I've heard people enjoying it. I'm like good on them, but for me it's not targeting me.
Okay.
And that's okay. Hey, it happened with Concord and gonna happen now with Marathon. Like, these games are not for me.
Yeah.
Heck, even a game like what you call it, Faction is not for me. I never touched Faction.
Yeah.
Not that doesn't mean Faction is bad. It just means that's not for me. I'm mostly a single player, so that's
Yeah.
why.
Yeah. So
So
as a single player, do you feel like Sony's kind of uh in a way abandoning that audience in search of a new audience of players with the live service push?
if I think that they are abandoning their single player crowd, I don't think
Not
so.
like fully, because you are still getting some, but it's it's doesn't seem to be the main focus at the moment.
No, what's his name? Either Shuei Ishida or what's it? Or Herman Host. I think Shuei. No, it was Shuei, and it was after he left PlayStation. He
He's been
said the games that got greenlit have nothing to do with the multiplayer. The multiplayer games that they got greenlit have nothing to do with the single player. We're still gonna get our single player games. They're just gonna focus on multiplayer games. Which is okay. They do what they're gonna do. And at the end of the day, I'm gonna decide by myself what I play and what I don't play. It's that
well,
simple.
is it? I mean, it's kind of hard to say that when you haven't had a lot of single player games come out recently from Sony first party. Like they're just
But
they've been
because
like first party single player
we
games
we
have kind of been
literally
missing.
we literally just covered we got a release date.
Yeah,
Not only
yeah,
that, we got
You
two
got
things.
Ghost, but that's like one game in a calendar year.
That's two as well.
Sorry,
We're getting the train two as well.
what two?
Death Stranding.
Death Stranding 2, but that's
That's
not
training.
really that's not them. That's not their first party. That's not coming internally from them. That's like outsourced. That's what I'm saying. Like from a first party perspective, like what they're internally working on, it seems to be more multiplayer than first party.
We have what? We know most of the big studio what they're working on. The only one that we don't know is Cory Barlog's new studio game that they're working on, Santa Monica, and that's it. For
Yeah,
the
but I'm saying
most part,
there's been a relatively healthy gap in the
I
single
mean,
player release cadence in
they
in the past, let's say 18ish months.
they
Like
did the
Since Spider-Man 2, it's been like a like kind of like a drip feed from the actual first party. You're getting a lot of remakes of games like Days Gone remaster came out. Did Last of Us for like the third time this gen.
They differently. They started normally coffee. You can attest to it, right?
Kofi disappeared, but yeah.
Well, yeah. Normally, PlayStation starts off slow in generation. They start off slow and they gear up in the middle, and then at the end they end up with a bang. With this generation, they started off phenomenal.
Yeah, they did. They did. I'll give them credit for that. But then they also acquired studios in a generation too, so it's kind of like there's not necessarily as much of an reason. I'll say reason for why there's been this gap, other than the fact that they've been more focused on live service, and a lot of those titles have been canceled.
They don't have enough studios. That's the reality.
Well, they were all right before.
Are we really about to say they don't have enough studios?
They were up to like what? They got up to like 20 something studios at one point, right? I mean, they closed some down since, but they got up to like 20 something.
But to me, it's a matter. Like, we got Intergalactic, we got the Wolverine, we got Saros. That's already 3 games that I'm excited for.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, they not saying they don't have anything in the pipeline to be excited for. It's just that the cadence and the focus has just kind of not been consistent. Like Wolverine, we have no idea when that's coming out. Soros, I think we got a release window. I think that's supposed to come out next year. Soros, and then
Intergalactic is next year as well.
Intergalactic.
And I think either Wolverine gonna be as well, or it might get delayed. One of them, I'm not sure if they're gonna release all 3 games next year.
I don't think
they
so.
Might.
They well, via internal memo, they don't want to release more than 2 first-party titles a year. So I think their goal is 2 first-party and 2 partner. Like how you got Death Stranding and Lost Soul aside, and you have Marathon and Ghost of Yotei. I think that's kind of like the goal for their release cadence at the moment. I don't think they necessarily want to throw all their first party out all at once, because their first party does take so long to release those single player games. I don't think they want to, throw them all out like 3 in 1 year when they can do like 2, and then if you release 1 in the spring, 1 in the fall, it's like what? It's like a 3 to 4 month gap between what you release in the fall winter time when it finally loses its sizzle and the next game comes out. So it's like they kind of always stay relevant.
But when it comes to the games, I have zero doubt. Like, I am not anywhere scared. Because their output, again, they've been slow, but I expected that after how insane they started. So, if we didn't get God of Yotei, if we didn't get Saros, if we didn't get Intergalactic, you're gonna hear me scream, not just shout, scream at them. But so far, I'm getting what I want. Are they doing multiplayer? Yes, they're doing multiplayer. Good on them. They're the one that trying to figure it out. Hey, they're gonna figure it out or they're not gonna figure it out. And at the end of the day, I'm getting my game.
Right.
That's all it comes down to. Give me my game. Run me my game.
Okay. Did we get your thoughts on Ghost? Yeah, we did get your thoughts on Ghost of Yotei.
Nappy.
Nappy. Yeah, we did.
Yeah, we did.
Man.
All right.
Yeah, you got my thoughts.
It's getting late, man. It's damn near 12:30 at night.
Yeah.
Let's
wrap it up.
Let's go ahead and get into these outros so I can get you guys out of here and we can get a good night's rest. Let's see. First in, first out. I think who was first tonight? Was it Omar? Omar, where can we find you? What will you be playing?
People can find me Incredible Good Job on Twitter. And Outer Play podcast every Saturday, 5 p.m. at the 10th time. It's a Blackbutton, share the stream out. And for me, 13 Sentinels, I meant 33
Immortals.
Expedition 33.
No, not 30. I said 33 Immortals. Expedition 33.
Yeah, and as always, some type of Metrovania.
All right. And Nappy, where can we find you and what will you be playing?
Yes, you can find me here on YouTube. I'm going to be playing definitely more Monster Hunter. Definitely going to. I kind of dive quite a bit on the mobile end with this gaming phone with the Red Magic 10 Pro, and I'm definitely going to try to start doing a lot more recordings because I think I got all the data I need off of this phone. And so definitely catch me playing Monster Hunter and whatever the hell I play on this phone.
All right. Zero, where can we find you?
Guys, as always, it's a blast. Of course, you can find me 0x386 or 0.exe pretty much anywhere. And I'm running Monster Hunter, going on that Expedition 33. That's gonna be my focus. If I can get those two done, I can jump into Oblivion and probably South of Midnight and slowly finish up Kazan.
So many good games though.
It is.
Yeah.
I agree with you. What you said. This is
We're flooded.
probably one of the best gaming years in a long time.
Yeah. And last but not least, the one that cannot make it to the show on time. Show starts late. Yubei, where can we find you?
Hey, I've been all right until recently. Okay. Yeah, you can find me at Jubei Sensei on gaming platforms, Jubei Sensei everywhere else. I will be diving into 33 this week. I will also make it a point to finish South of Midnight. I think I gotta, after Sinners and stuff, I gotta make it through that. They was talking about haints and shit. I'm like, oh look, correlation and corroboration. It's great. But yeah, I'll catch y'all next time.
I just want to thank everybody for coming through. Hope you hit that like button and share this out to everyone who loves gaming podcasts. We truly appreciate you guys, and I want to thank you for coming through and getting your weekly dose of that vitamin G. We are out. Peace.
Later.
I'm on the outside looking in, and I wanna be back on the inside. I don't wanna be left on the outside, all alone.
Vitamin J, what you need? Vitamin J, got
All
what you need.
alone.
Vitamin J. Ayy. You rockin' with beasts, discussing the heat in the streets. Take over the west and the east. I got what you need, a dose of this vitamin J. You rockin' with beasts, discussing the heat in the streets. Take over the west and the east. I got what you need, a dose of this vitamin J. You rockin' with beasts, discussing the heat in the streets. Take over the west and the east. I got what you need, a dose of this vitamin J. Rockin' with beasts, discussing the heat in